The season opener for the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series comes at you live on RaceSpotTV. 13 rounds in the trucks. Round number 1 kicks off right here, right now. 100 laps around Daytona. Do not go away.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Qualifying currently underway for the DJ Harris Design Truck Series season opener 100 lap event here at the Daytona International Speedway. Randy Chinnet, Nolan Rempel and Hugo Louis. I got the last name right, but those first names, they can be pretty tricky. Bringing you the show for this one, and going to be an interesting race tonight here, Nolan. It's not a very large grid here for these trucks, which means that it's basically going to be anyone's game when it comes to potentially putting up the W here tonight as qualifying gets ready to come to a close. There are some interesting names up and down this series that are going to be very, very competitive, likely the whole way through.
I can definitely agree with you on there. We only actually have 16 drivers on the grid today, so incredibly small field for today's race, and qualifying is looking really close too. Second and third place separated only by 1/1000th of a second. So extremely tight field today. I think we can expect some really exciting racing despite the smaller number of cars.
Wind varying back and forth as you see on the graphic right there, although I think that was mostly Hugo switching from the metric units to the Imperial, so slightly interesting there. But it's relatively cool tonight. 65° Fahrenheit is the temperature, mostly cloudy with a 5-mile-per-hour wind. The field gets ready to get gridded up. 100 laps, 250 miles, a lot of slipstreaming. When do you think the big one is going to occur, Nolan?
I'd say with these guys, with such a small field, it's probably not going to happen earlier on in the race. I'd predict maybe closer to lap 20, 25, maybe even lap 30 or so, but it's definitely not out of the question that it's probably going to happen. I wouldn't put it past these guys.
So given that prediction, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say it probably happens on the opening lap here, knowing what typically happens with us. But as the grid starts getting itself set, let's go down your starting grid for the season opener here in the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series. Front row made up of Jason Jacoby as well as Aladar Soto on that front row, with Taylor Frey and Aaron Smith II on row number 2. Elijah Gracia and Andrew Jump on row number 3, with Kevin Maffitt and Lucas Cram on row number 4. J.R. Hager and Jordan Coren make up row 5. Darren Clement and Logan Clampitt are on row number 6, with Caden Atkins and William Martin on row number 7. Evan Kelsey and Daniel Harris, they make up the 16-car field here tonight. Still waiting on Daryl to actually take the grid. I do believe he is in the server. So 16 cars getting themselves gridded up. Handful of big names. Jason Jacoby, of course, at the front of the field is going to be one of them, but I think the real big name in this championship is going to be that number 44, Logan Clampitt, NASCAR Pink Antifreeze iRacing Series driver, and fighting for the championship a couple seasons thus far in that series. Made the top 4 last year, was not quite able to get into the top 4 of the playoffs this season. It'll be an interesting one here because, like we said here, Nolan, everyone pretty much has an opportunity to win this race with such a small field. Have to be smart and really not get aggressive early. In my opinion, if I'm in this field, race doesn't truly start until I get to lap 80.
Yeah, I can fully agree with you on that one, though a lot of people, they feel when you have a track like this, you just completely run flat out all the way around, that you need to make up as many positions as you possibly can and try to run away with it. So people can make pretty reckless maneuvers in the opening laps to try to get those spots when everybody's all bunched up together. But that it could end up being your downfall at this place. It's happened to even me a couple times. I'm not going to say I'm a completely innocent driver at all, but it's definitely something that these guys really need to look out for when they're trying to pass you, because it's not like Talladega. You don't have the room to go 3-4 wide in the turns or on the back straightaway for that matter. It's quite a narrow track compared to most super speedways when you actually think about it.
Track schedule, or excuse me, series schedule was just up on your screen. Broadcast will be mixed between us and LSR TV. LSR TV during the bulk of it. After this season opener, you will find the broadcast for this series there on LSR TV. Myrtle Beach next week, followed by Martinsville, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. So basically going from a super speedway to a couple of short tracks to a road course to another short track and 5 flags, and then Darlington. Really not a lot of cookie cutters on the schedule like you might expect typically in one of these championships. The field, though, pulling themselves through corners number 3 and 4, as Jason Jacoby is going to be the one in command of the field as they get ready to come off the steep banks here at the Daytona International Speedway. iRacing safety car preparing to duck down to the safety of pit road in a moment. And when will that blue number 88 get on the throttle? Jason Jacoby in command of the field. He gets on it a little bit late. We are rolling and getting ourselves up to speed. Green flag on the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series. They go roaring off into turn number 1.
Despite getting on the throttle a little late, we can see Jason Jacoby working that inside line well with the help of Aladar Soto behind him. Please forgive me if I pronounced that name wrong. Soto really working to maybe help him along the inside line here. The outside line, not a preferable line on this racetrack. If you're drafting with somebody else, you really want to hold that inside as tight as you can. Make sure that you can't allow somebody to get underneath you, because if you get into that outside lane, you can drop like a rock, especially if you don't have any help. These guys will be able to make it work a little bit as they get a little close there. The 42 car of Kevin Moffitt almost getting up into, I believe that was Andrew Jump on the outside line just above him. So that was a little hairy. We almost actually had that first lap incident.
Very close there. Oh, nearly had contact. See, the guys are getting a little slicey and dicey in the back of the field. I think we're going to see this calm down eventually, but that upper line is doing a good job holding on. Jason Jacoby able to lead that first lap competition. They fan out 3 wide at the back of the field. That's not going to be, I think, advised in the long term. Who is that actually up against the wall? It's number 44, JDRgraphics.com machine of Logan Clampitt actually trying to make that outer groove work. The number 9 of JR Hager is going to hop up there as well, try to push this number 44 forward. They're going to go 3 wide through 3 and 4 in the tail end of the pack. Not quite sure how this is going to work out for them, especially with that pink car in the middle of Jordan Coren sort of swerving back and forth. Jordan can't really make up his mind of what in the world he wants to do. They're going to force the 42 42 underneath that yellow stripe. Jordan needs to make a decision and either run the middle or run the top. And he's going back and forth, nearly a little bit of contact with the 42 there. And I think that the number 9 who was helping Logan pretty much decided, you know what, I don't want anything to do with this. And he pretty much got way off the back of the 44 there. Nearly early contact there once again, Nolan.
And we saw J.R. Hager actually got up and into the wall, so that would explain why he dropped back and lost all that speed that he had once been carrying. Logan Clampitt made a really daring move to the outside to make a 3 wide. I'm looking back towards the 11 car. Evan Kelsia, he almost actually went down to the inside, right on the double yellow lines there. He's going to slide himself right in behind Caden Atkins. As they once again are running all over the track. The 32 almost got on the, almost made the 3 wide of Darren Clement, but he's decided to calm down a little bit as they're going 3 wide for 3rd place here up at the front of the field.
3 wide here up near the pointy end of the field. Logan Clampitt once again up against the outside wall, trying to make something work. Jordan Coren still involved with this little scrap as Alador Soto ends up inheriting the race lead as well. So the number 96 of Andrew Jump, he's going to lead that outside train at the moment. Logan Clampitt has absolutely no help. Going to fall back a little bit. Kevin Moffitt swerving back and forth, trying to decide what in the world he wants to do as well. As they roll through 3 and 4 once again, Field getting himself back to 2 wide. It's going to be a pretty hectic race, and I think it's going to be a bit of good luck getting all 15 of these cars, as we had Daryl Harris not actually take the start of this race. It's a 15-car grid, essentially. Getting all 15 of these guys to the checkered flag is going to be hectic, and we're not going to do it. One truck is spun. We got a caution. Who is that was swerving off? That was the 46 of William Martin. Big incident here in the first handful of laps.
Oh dear, I saw him blink invisible for, he blinked in and out for just a second there, coming out of the tri-oval, and the second he did that, I just knew something bad was going to happen. Sure enough, got pitched up into the wall, caught quite a bit of air, and now his truck is smoking. His day is certainly done for. A very unfortunate end to William Martin's race, a very unfortunate start to his season.
A big incident there for sure, as drivers up and down the field are going to come under caution for the first time in this event. A handful of drivers are already pretty much working that fuel-saving strategy. Listen to a couple of these cars and hear that they're completely off the throttle and into the clutch, trying to save as much fuel as they can in these early stages. And that's going to be one of the big things, Nolan, is that with 100 laps on the board, sort of kind of right past that window where you could maybe do this on 2 stops. So every little bit of fuel you can save, going to be a pretty considerable amount.
I definitely think that we can maybe see some fuel mileage going on in the later stages of the race, maybe in the final 10 laps or so. Jason Jacoby did manage to keep the lead for the entirety of the races thus far, coming on to lap number, it will be lap number 7 at the line. Lap number 6, oh, we got one car that just went into the bus stop chicane there in the back.
Yep, we occasionally see that. Some people will get a little bit bored. That's Taylor Frey just taking the road course loop. That was 100% intentional as I watched that happen. So pit stops getting likely to cycle through here. And I think, honestly, Nolan, with such a small field, no reason really to not come down and take tires and fuel.
I wouldn't think there was much of a reason at the time because, well, we're so early in the race. I wouldn't bring it in because especially if you're at the front, you can lose all those spots in one pit stop, especially if you're the only one that comes down. So, oh, hold on, we actually do see a bunch of guys coming down onto pit road, just about everybody. So it looks like I was entirely wrong there on that one.
Just don't see any reason not to. We are getting a little bit of a split though, as a handful of trucks do go up onto the tri-oval. We're going to see Kevin Moffitt actually, or Moffitt, excuse me, not Moffitt. He's going to take the free handful of track position. Taylor Frey as well. Lucas Cram going to be the other one. Everyone else coming down on pit road, so those top 3 will not be coming down pit road. The rest say, you know what, we want some tires and some fuel.
That could give these guys that are pitting now a bit of an edge, but that will actually cause Jason Jacoby to lose the lead. Even if everybody came down pit road, he'd be down to 2nd place right about now, as we have one driver, Caden Atkins, that came out in front of him. So interesting strategy. I think that could be maybe different fuel amounts being put in, or maybe some took 4 tires, some took 2. But that will definitely cause these guys to fall down to the back. Do you think I'm really sorry for all of this stuttering. The English vocabulary seems to be running away with me here. Jason Jacoby, do you think he can work his way up to the front pretty quickly?
I mean, I don't think he really has to worry about working his way up to the front quickly. He's going to get a couple of spots, though, I think, due to some penalties. So, I mean, to me, there's just no reason to do anything in this race quickly. You know, there might be some bonus points on the line, but I don't really care if I'm restarting 12th or something like that right now, or wherever in the world I might be. With only 14 cars essentially on the racetrack, 15 cars on the racetrack, as William Martin has been able to, I believe, get repairs to his truck after that big incident. There's just not enough cars to where I'm really that worried about track position. It's unimportant to me in an event like this.
I'm a little curious on what Daryl Harris is up to, because he never took the start, but he is still in the server. So I'm a little curious to see what he's trying to do. Do you think maybe he's trying to wait a little bit, or do you think maybe he's had maybe connection issues and just hasn't been able to join the race?
He's spotting, actually, so shout outs to DJ. He's in the YouTube chat, so he's actually spotting for Jordan in this one. So he is taking part, but in a more advisory role for that number 3, I believe, as we should be getting lights out on the pace car shortly. No lights out just yet. So pretty much a complete field reset that we end up getting, Nolan, because with the quick repair for William there, he's able to come down pit road, get himself a fresh truck even after that big incident, and immediately come back up out on the racetrack. We still have all 15 cars. Only a couple people have really moved around, and it's mostly due to the pit stop strategy. For the most part, we're just going to be picking up more or less immediately where we left off.
It may as well actually be almost a complete different start to the race, because just about everybody took fuel and tires. I think 3 drivers stayed out was the total, and then of course we got you got the other guys. It's gonna be double file restarts, and we're gonna be, I think we're going to go on lap 10. It's gonna look like that to me, but it may as well be a fresh start to the race.
Yep, that's going to be the main situation here as these guys work their way through. I imagine we'll be getting lights out this time by on the iRacing safety car. We'll be getting a restart just shy of 10 laps into this thing. Should be going green on the 10th lap. So 91 laps to go when we eventually do get this restart. So double file restarts, it'll be exactly like we saw on the start of this thing. I mean, the thing to watch, Noel, will be, will people try to open up that third groove? We saw Logan Clampitt trying to get up there. A couple of other drivers jumped up at a couple times trying to help him. Problem is, as aggressive this field is being, and after seeing a driver get spun up to that upper line, I don't think I'd be too worried or too hectic trying to get up to that third groove, as lights do indeed go out on that pace car.
I would say be nice and patient on the restart. There's going to be 91 laps to go at the green, so take it easy. There's quite a while to make this up. We got about 1 or 2 more pit stop windows to go left in the race. So just, I think what we should do is, or what these guys should do, just take it nice and easy. There's going to be plenty of time to make spots up in the race, and if you push really hard at the start, you could end up ruining your day, everybody else's race. It just wouldn't be a good ending for anybody, as we already saw with poor William Martin.
Yep, we saw with William get himself into the short side of the luck, but luckily with the reset, he's able to get himself back up onto the racetrack, get himself another go. Hopefully his technical issues calm down just a little bit when it comes to this one. So we're coming back to Green Flag Racing. The 10 Home Depot machine of Taylor Frey will be leading them. The 42 of Kevin Moffitt will be on the outside of that front row. Lucas Cram will be in third. Jason Jacoby, who Nolan hyped up about, will he be able to work himself back to the front, will be starting deep in the field on the outside of that second row. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on this restart as the iRacing safety car gets ready to cut down towards that safety of pit road as they come off the fourth quarter here on the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. Let's see what can end up happening here. 10 car in command of the field, waiting. Pace car is off. We are ready, and the 10 car doesn't waste any time the way Jason did earlier on. We are green here at Daytona, and Taylor Frey has a huge gap from himself to that car of Lucas Cram behind. So I think that Susan G. Cohen machine of Lucas Cram is going to close huge on the 10 car and might be able to jump up to the top. But look at that outside line. It has gone the way of the dinosaurs, so the Southern groove is extinct.
We can see Kevin Moffitt didn't manage to get down to the inside line in time. He's going to put himself in behind second place of Lucas Cram, managing to get that in. Oh, here comes Logan Clampitt over on the outside, 3 wide already. Clampitt not wasting a single ounce of time. You can see him flashing by on that third groove. He is indeed trying to open it up, gets himself in behind Cram now. He might do a little bump drafting here. Maybe you can use that line to help him out. He's really working that high line. Very impressive driving from the 44 truck as he's going to help Cram trying to push his way up into first place here on lap number 11.
Doing a good job being aggressive out there. Not going to hop up to the outside just yet. He did leave the driver that was out there trying to help him to the front out to dry, and that driver ended up losing a couple of spots on a lot of time. So I think that 44 likely not going to be able to work that third groove. Thinking about doing it, not going to do so, as Lucas Cram is going to pull nearly alongside the nose of that 10 machine of Taylor Frey. Going to actually pull out in front, but as they work through the center of the corner, now it's likely to favor that bottom groove, but for some reason people are moving up off that yellow line. Jason Jacoby came up and gave that 44 a little bit of slipstream, and Logan's going to push Lucas Cram to the front as they roll through the tri-oval. So Lucas Cram is going to lead this second lap back under green flag conditions, and they are not going to drop down to the bottom. They need to be careful though. The car gets hooked, and there it goes. Jason Jacoby gets sent around as well. The 10 machine, big incident in your mid-pack. Thank God for fast repairs, because there's about 6 or 7 cars all caught up in this one.
And that was the big one, just like we were talking about. The one thing that we were hoping not to see early on in the race. The one thing that I thought was going to happen, these guys just got way too aggressive, way too early, and decided to go for a move that they probably should have waited to make until later on in the race. So that was just, I guess, it was more of a racing incident, if anything, but it's just so unfortunate that that had to happen so early on in the race.
Do you think that the actual existence of the quick repairs sometimes make these sort of situations inevitable? I know there's been a couple times that I've seen some various incidents happen in some races that I've broadcast before, and it seems to me that whenever you have a super speedway race with quick repairs, all it ever does is seems to incentivize people getting way too aggressive way too early, and I think we've seen that now for the second time tonight.
I mean, if you can get the damage repaired in like 2 seconds, why not? Like, why not go for a move that some might consider way too aggressive? As Alador Soto just barely manages to keep it out of just about everything. I think he made some contact early on in the race. You just saw an onboard shot of him, but you did get a good job of not getting involved in the later stages of the race. So I was actually quite impressed by that. I didn't think that that was an incident that you could avoid it so easily.
I mean, that was a pretty big pileup, and they blocked pretty much the vast majority of the racetrack there, the way they ended up spinning off. With this second caution, though, we are going to take our first break here on RaceSpotTV. We're going to step away for a couple moments. We will be back for the rest of the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free, both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website. The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game This is iRacing.
Alex Levy, driver of number 36 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and I'm from Montreal, Canada. I'm here at iRacing headquarters just logging some laps on the Roval. It's a brand new track, nobody's been there before. Even us Xfinity guys, we're not allowed to go test before, so I think it's a pretty good test to do a couple of laps here and learn the layout. I think it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be fun to drive by ourselves, but I think it's gonna be really tough in the traffic just to overtake people, and especially the infield because it's all new pavement. So it's gonna be pretty tricky, but I think we're gonna have to be there at the end to survive because there's gonna be a lot of things happening for sure. I started on iRacing in 2010, I think, just doing like short tracks because I was a short track racer and just helping me out. And then when I started doing the Xfinity Series, it really helped me learn all the new tracks because it was always the first time I was going to the tracks and all the ovals, and especially like the road courses, like the Roval and I don't know, Mid-Ohio, Road America, Watkins Glen. It's a little longer to learn. So if I could use I use the platform in the weeks prior to the race just to get the track in my head and be up to speed quicker on the track. I think it's probably like if I would have run 10 to 15 laps on the real track for sure at least, because I mean I know I've been on iRacing before, and I know the tracks are really close to what they're in real life. So just small stuff I can learn. I think I can apply it like directly on the track when I get there, and it's a lot because like I said, you get up to speed quicker and you make a lot more gains with the team, and especially we're a smaller team, so we can't really run. Like on Thursday, we're going to run some laps, but we can't run as much laps as a big team. So just to come here and lug some good laps, it's going to be a huge help for this weekend.
Heading down towards the Parabolica. And we're getting all set for the start of 3 hours of racing around Monza here, and certainly going to be a good race. We're waiting for the green light. The green flag doesn't drop yet. It's down the line, and now the green flag comes out. Away we go then. 3 hours underway here at Monza as they head down towards Rettifilio to start with. You're going 3-4 wide further down your field. Hopefully everyone gets themselves sorted out as they head in to turn number 1 now. This first chicane, so easy to make contact around here. We've got a car spun, and we've got more to...
Lights are out on the iRacing safety car as we get ready for the second restart in just a handful of laps. Coming back on lap number 16, coming to lap number 17. The 8 of Lucas Cram leads the field. The 44 Logan Clampitt is on the outside of that front row. The outside line is trying to time the restart, and they're going to do it. Watch for that 3 of Jordan Coren, because he has a little bit of momentum closing in on the 44 Logan Clampitt, as those two are nose to nose fighting for the race lead, rubbing just a little bit as they work into turn number 1.
Clampitt getting really aggressive, trying to get Lucas Cram a little unsettled, but it looks like Cram will manage to hang on to it, and with help from the 24 car of Alador Soto, he will run his way up to the front, and Logan Clampitt is not going to have any help. Oh, yes, he will. Here comes the 88 car of Jason Jacoby, who's going to help push him back on the outside now as Clampitt begins to gain back ground. They're going to be spinning over there in turn number 3. Logan Clampitt was right. They save it. No, they don't. Hard to the outside wall. That's going to collect a bunch of cars. Third caution of the night is out.
Other big caution, and we believe he only had one quick repair on the night, so we may have just lost about half the field, as I think just about everyone was involved in that was not out at the front of the pack. We'll get a complete count when we can, but I count at least 7, if not 8 trucks involved in that incident. Logan Clampitt has a burn-up motor, as well as a number of others. William Martin is involved. Remember, he was involved with that first caution at the start of the race. I see Kevin Moffitt with big damage. I see Caden Atkins with big damage. I think Jason Jacoby got a piece of that as well. So at the end of it, it's Lucas Cram who comes through with the race lead. I think him, Darren Clement, and Andrew Jump are going to be the only trucks that do not have damage following that incident. Maybe Evan Kelsey as well.
Oh, we didn't even make it one lap that time. It's Clampitt, you can see right there. Oh, it wasn't Clampitt's fault actually. It was more of a racing incident, but you could definitely, it was definitely second place, kind of came up, doored Clampitt and Jacoby in the side, and that just sent both of them around, and they just collected everybody else the second they slept and nailed that outside wall. Hard crash for a bunch of drivers here. That's going to definitely end a lot of drivers' hopes for tonight, especially if they only had one quick repair, because that means they're going to be spending a good, it could be up to like 7 minutes up in their pit stalls.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, as most of the field's pretty much be coming down on towards pit road. Lucas Cram, Jason Jacoby. Kevin Moffitt's actually going to stay out with his damage, so interesting choice there. Well, a couple of others. Andrew Jump's going to stay out, and I think this is a pretty decent decision from him based on his situation. No damage, and I think he would have just come down pit road, so it makes sense for him to actually stay out on the racetrack. Kevin Moffitt's going to get his truck checked out by that 96 as they roll through, and you see Lucas Cram will be the first one coming off the pit road. But I think at this point, we're talking about half the field pretty much still being in this thing.
Well, I guess even despite only having 15 drivers in the race so far, we're still getting a bunch of exciting racing, a lot of tight, close racing. Clampitt, we saw on the restart, rubbing up against Lucas Cram on that inside line, so he's been getting really aggressive, and I think it was just a case of 2 or 3 drivers that just wanted to make up time and make up positions. It was just a big mess, that whole restart. We had Rubin coming out of the trial. Well, we had Jacoby closing the gap rapidly on the outside. We had a big wreck at turn number 3. So I can't believe how quickly that turned into absolute mayhem.
Handful of trucks able to come down pit road, and it seems have yet to use their quick repairs. I think the notable one that's actually come back off of pit road with a completely clean truck, though, Nolan. 44 Logan Clampitt, no damage on the JDR graphics machine as he comes back out and rolling. So that's going to be a big bit of a lifesaver for him, and he gets sort of a second chance here to run through the field. And I think now that fast repair is gone, Logan's going to have to be much smarter working his way back towards the front of the field. He's not going to be able to, sling that truck 3 wide up against the outside wall with the safety net of a quick repair supporting him.
It's like we were discussing earlier on in the race. If you have a quick repair, why not make some extra moves? Why not be a little extra aggressive? Because you can get your truck repaired in about 2 seconds in the pits. You could be gone, and you get pretty much of the pit stop time of that of like the guys that we see in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix series. But of course, whoa! We just one car that just straight up stopped. That was Evan Kelsey out of the 11 truck. Stopped and almost nailed another driver that was coming around. What happened there?
I think that's hardware failure, as I hear him revving down on the apron. That looks like that's exactly what happened. Hands on the driver, pretty much freaked out. So wheel, I think, more or less disconnected from the computer, and Evan Kelsey has pulled himself out of that truck. That means that he's going to be using his using a tow here, so he's going to lose himself a ton of time compared to the rest of the field. So that really does hurt him in terms of where he's going to be in terms of track position, but a bit drama-filled even here under cautions.
These guys just want to provide some action. Even when we're under caution, we can see one truck coming by on the outside. I think he's been given the wave around, so that would make a bit of sense. Oh, there he goes, right by the iRacing safety car. Yeah, that's Jordan Coren, and I think he was a lap down, so he is going to be, yes, he was a lap down, so he's been given a wave around for sure, maybe he got the lucky dog. as I believe you're going to be getting lights out on the pace car at the line this time by.
Should be. We'll have to wait and see as they work their way into the tri-oval. It is still Kevin Maffitt who leads, by the way. That truck is a little bit crumpled on that front end. A couple of trucks are going to as well come down on towards pit road behind. So as they work themselves past start finish, indeed, lights will go out on that iRacing safety car. We're going to have a huge amount of cars stacking up behind the field right now. I believe we only have 9, maybe 10. We have 9 cars that are currently on the racetrack. A couple of them are on pit road getting some repairs, and they will be back up there in just a couple of moments. So we've been whittled down from 15 down to, I think, technically 13 will be scored still in this event on the lead lap.
I just noticed that Evan Kelsia was given a penalty to go to the end of the line, an EOL penalty. So I'm wondering what that was. I think that might have been for when he just
can't take an EOL if you're on pit road. So
yeah, I guess that's true. So either way, he's being extremely hurt. He's going to be extremely hurt on this restart into this race. How long do you think we can go before we get the next caution? Because at this point, I'm thinking maybe 5 laps if we get that far.
Oh, I mean, that's about 4 times the distance they've been able to manage before getting a caution this far in this event. So hopefully it can come after a while. We had 4 laps clean at the start of the race, and then ever since it's basically been a lap and a half at max, followed by a quick yellow. And for such a small field, that's actually quite incredible to have that happen and have this many cars still out there on the racetrack. Regardless, they work themselves through corners number 3 and 4. It's going to be the number 42 of Kevin Moffitt leading the way. It'll be interesting to see how this truck is able to deal with the damage it has. It may not be very good out in clean air, but maybe, just maybe, he'll have pace when he gets someone out in front of him drafting. He gets on it early and then gets off it sort of at the for a moment, but ends up picking the throttle back up. We are back green here at Daytona.
Already we can see the 8 truck of Lucas Cramp jumping to the outside. It looks like that little damage he's got on the front is affecting Moffitt's performance, because Cram made short work of that truck. As we can see Moffitt getting right onto the apron. Very, very dangerous to get on the apron that much. As we can see the outside line really getting a huge jump. They're leaving Moffitt out to dry pretty much on that inside line. He is going to get a little bit help. No, he won't. Oh, here comes Logan Clampitt. Oh, they just about went 4 wide there. This is getting really, really exciting. Clampitt not wasting any time, even despite being at the back of this line. He's going to hook up here with Jason Jacoby. Let's not have another incident here. Turn 3 guys, especially not the same way. Andrew Jump getting a little bit squirrely, going left and right. Just about got into Clampitt. I thought we were going to get another incident there. Look to the outside. Can't make it work quite, but he is backing off a little bit there now.
Trying to figure out what in the world's going on with Andrew Jump, because he just keeps coming up the racetrack almost a full truck width, as Jacoby and Logan are going to inherit the race lead. But he nearly caught that 44 a couple of times with that, so I think we're lucky to still have a number of these trucks still rolling. Logan's going to get some good momentum off the top side despite the lack of a drafting partner. Mr. William Martin, though, is going to close in on that 44 truck to come out just a little bit. So Jason Jacoby will continue to lead this race, as we see Lucas Cram, hopefully not in the long term, having a couple technical issues. 88 will lead them off of turn 4 and should beat the 44 Logan to the line regardless of the push that he gets. But Logan's going to try to prove me wrong, though, and might just be able to get there. No, he won't. It'll be the 88 who leads that trip around the racetrack. So these two who have hooked themselves up a couple of times and pushed their way to the front. One now leads the inside groove, the other one leads the outside groove, as the entire rest of the field is just completely failed, Nolan, to form themselves up. We really only have 2 trucks on the inside, 2 trucks on the outside. It's just sort of haphazard gaggle between the rest of the field.
We saw them working their way by Kelsia, who worked his way down below the apron there to try to give these guys room. Pretty wise maneuver by him. Jason Jacoby manages to work his way back up into the lead, so he's exactly where he's starting now in this race. Logan Clampitt is not going to let him get a break, though, as he's pushing hard on that outside, trying to make that outside line work. I wonder if he'll be able to make a stick, though. He's been doing a really good job of it so far, but if he doesn't have the help, he's kind of on his own up there. William Martin looks as he's looking to try to hook up with him, so it's going to be a battle between Lucas Cram helping out Jason Jacoby, and William Martin helping out Logan Clampitt. It looks like we've got Clement and Jump looking to join the party, though.
These guys are trying to get themselves up there, and I think they were just close enough to have enough of that slipstream to be able to reel in this lead pack, and that's exactly what's happened. So we have pretty much the entire field of trucks all lined up. There's a handful that are technically not part of this pack, though. You have Evan Kelsey, Jordan Coren, and Kevin Moffitt. Those trucks all, I think, have damage and are trailing this field by about 8 or 9, take that back, 3 seconds out there on the racetrack. Lead pack, though, is where the focus needs to be, as Jason Jacoby still leads. Little bit of slicing and dicing for some reason in this pack. Not exactly sure why. A couple trucks dipping tires underneath the apron as they roll through 1 and 2. See the 44 Logan Clampitt. Now that this inside has really formed itself up, Nolan, Logan struggling a little bit on that outside to maintain speed, as I believe that's the 2 who's down the inside and well and truly off pace. That was Caden Atkins. Maybe have just run into the back. Nope, not exactly sure what happened to Caden. He just pulled off the racetrack. So, a little bit of drama there. Not quite sure what exactly happened, but things are happening up at the front of the field. The 88 of Jason Jacoby not having the momentum that he had before, as Logan Clampitt is going to pull up to the outside through the tri-oval and in towards 1 and 2. Logan will lead that lap by about 0.04 of a second as they roll through 1 and 2. Logan wanted to duck down in front, but not quite able to get there, so he's going to have to just sit there in that second spot for the moment. Down the inside goes the 88 of Jason Jacoby, continuing to get a push from the 8 of Lucas Cram as they scream down this back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4.
Ooh, we saw a bit of a touch. Andrew Jump just tapped the back end of Karen Clemens, so we just about had an incident in the back there, but managed to keep themselves all sorted out as it's 3 on the inside, 2 on the outside. We saw also going into turn number 1, we saw Martin looking to make he looked at the outside a little bit. Maybe he thought he could get onto that third groove. Didn't quite get there, though. He just put himself back in behind. I think at this point, it might be the 3-car train that we have running that inside line for these top 3 on the inside that might have a better advantage than the 2 running the outside line, just because they got a little bit more momentum going. As we can see, Jacoby managing to almost clear Clampitt. Jacoby does manage to make a bunch of ground in the corners, but Clampitt just closes it all up again on the straightaways.
That's what you're going to be expecting these guys to be doing, though, what with Logan being on the outside and Jacoby being down low, is that Logan will have a slightly quicker truck and top speed driving down the banking onto the straightaways, but Jason Jacoby, having that shorter trip around the racetrack in the corners, will be able to pull out ahead of Logan Clampitt, and that's what we keep seeing back and forth. The other thing, though, that we're also seeing is that either Logan Clampitt really isn't all that interested in pulling out ahead of Jason Jacoby, or at the moment, William Martin just isn't giving the help that that 44 needs to maybe clear that 88 of Jason Jacoby, and I honestly think it could be a combination of both. If you're that 44 Logan Clampitt, I think I would prefer just commanding this outside line right now. Just sit there, prevent drivers from trying to come up and really fight for this race lead. All you have to do is keep this thing as single file as you can. Try to keep people from being able to do something silly and making it 3 wide. Already seen a handful of silly mistakes end up costing a number of drivers, and heck, it cost Logan, and he had to use a faster pair after the last one. Try to keep this race as under control as you can, and just laps here and get yourself as deep into this race as you possibly can.
We're seeing a lot of wiggling going on there, especially with Darren Clement. I saw he's going to the apron several times, even on the back straightaway, on the front straightaway. He seems to be getting a little anxious. Maybe he's looking to make a move to the inside, maybe trying to harass the mirrors of Lucas Cram in front of him, trying to get him. Oh, there's another tap. They're into each other. There's a lot of contact all of a sudden. And we saw Clement down at the inside. He's below the apron. He's going to have to sacrifice all those spots to avoid a big accident. Rewind for a second, as I think we're about to get another big incident here.
They're certainly working towards that, as Jason Jacoby is going to pull his way out in front. That's going to cost him a lot of momentum. So the 44 Logan Clampitt should be able to clear that number 88 of Jason Jacoby. It's going to be his best opportunity to do so as he rolls off the tri-oval. He's going to lead that lap. William Martin is going to try to push him out to the race lead, and Logan Clampitt, he'll have the opportunity, but he's not going to drop down on Jason Jacoby just yet. He's staying out in front, and now he's going to do it. Going to pull in front of Jason Jacoby right here. William Martin's going to try to pinch the 8 down to the inside, it seems like. Here comes, I believe that is Alador Soto in that green E15 car. They work themselves into 3 and 4, and somehow we end up avoiding disaster once again.
Oh Oh my goodness, I lost my words for a second there. I was beginning to freak out, tug on my hairband. I thought they were going to completely wreck themselves. They're going 3 wide for a second. Now Soto up in that middle line, but he's being blocked by Jacoby, who's trying to work his way down to the inside. Jacoby using the draft from Soto to help himself back up into the lead, but now it's Logan Clampitt that's got the advantage on the inside line. And then, of course, we've got the 46 car William Martin William Martin being hung out to dry in the third group, so he's going to have to try to work his way back up there now, but it certainly won't take him maybe longer than half a lap to a lap or so.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's going to end up working himself backwards, and that is sort of one thing, is actually the 88 of Jason Jacoby will be able to drop in front of the 44 Logan Clampitt. I think Logan got a little bit tight because of that, nearly actually caught that car, the 24 of Alador Soto. I believe those two had a bit of a run in earlier. Actually, Jacoby's going to go up to that upper groove and allow Logan to get a run down on the bottom and let him down in there. So it seems to me, you know, that right there, Nolan, is a sure sign that these two are trying to control this race from the front of the grid as much as they possibly can.
We only have like 7-9 drivers that are running in this front field, and even they're managing to put on a really good show for us. Clampitt currently with the lead. He's just about clear of Jacoby, not quite there yet. Jacoby staying on his outside line. I'm looking back, and I'm seeing Darren Clement beginning to fight his way back up. He's amongst these lead guys again. Helping him is Andrew Jump in the 96 truck, and they're fighting hard to make sure that Clement can get back up there. Let's just hope that Clement does not almost cause a big incident like he did a few laps earlier.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that to happen. As actually the 88 machine, somewhat interestingly, after giving up the bottom and letting Logan down there, lets the 44 Logan Clampitt gonna get turned, I think, by the 24. I think that was what the number 40, another car involved, William Martin. We are gonna stay green with this one, but 2 trucks involved in a big incident, and this is now completely strung out, that lead group. A replay up on your screens right now as they're trying to see what exactly happened. It just looks to me the 44 came up the same time the 24 came down. Admins are going to throw a caution, but that pretty much takes out 2 or 3 other competitive trucks that we had on the evening to go down from about, I believe, 7 that we had really fighting for that race window, and we're going to be left with about 5 or 6.
I also saw just before, or maybe just after the caution was thrown, Jordan Coren on the front straightaway got bumped in the rear by Evan Kelsia and almost got turned on the front straightaway. So that was a little antsy there. I thought that might have been the incident that threw the caution out, because I kind of looked back to see if there was maybe a second incident, but nope, it looks like it was just that one incident with Logan Clampitt, and that will definitely be ending Logan Clampitt's day, because he most likely does not have a fast car anymore, and from the hit he took to the outside wall, he's no doubt got big damage, especially to the right side of the car, or truck.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of his day, 110%. And you are right, actually, talking about that incident. That was a sketchy little moment there for Jordan Coren and Evan Kelsey. They likely would not have realized what had happened out in front of them. And I think just as the caution flew, I think Coren got off the throttle and Kelsey just kind of got into the back of that pink machine. So as I do a count of sort of the lead group of trucks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are out amongst sort of your leading pack. There are a couple others behind. Keep in mind, William Martin and Logan Clampitt, they'll be questionable depending on the amount of damage they have. Jordan Coren as well as Evan Kelsey, you could lock them down as maybes depending on how this is going to affect them. But Evan Kelsey is scored 2 laps down. And then you get to Kevin Moffitt, big damage on that truck. So a lot of damage and a lot of interesting situations up and down the field as pit stops start here on lap number 35. Lucas Crammel will stay out, as well as Darren Clement and Alador Soto. Rest of the field pretty much coming down pit road. We are going to step away once again on RaceSpotTV. We will be back in just a couple of minutes to pick up where we left off. Don't go away.
A native, Martin Cronkite, he will start himself on pole position here today. It's going to be a long race. It will be a frustrating race for a number of drivers, but it's all going to be about who can get maximum momentum at the start of this event. The lights will go on top of the iRacing gantry. We are ready to go racing here at the Nürburgring. Lights are out. We are away, and it's a good start then by Cronkite as they storm down into turn 1. Look at Gregor Hotu in towards that first corner. He holds the outside line. He will take second place away from the looks of it of Marcus Jensen. So Hutu up into second place early on. Behind, we've got ourselves a little bit of beating and banging. Mitchell Young remains in fourth place for the time being. But what a start there, Johnny, by Gregor Hutu.
Yeah, Hutu rocketed off the line. There he is, riding on board with him, heading through the middle part of the lap right now. He's edging closer and closer to Kroenke here. It'll be an epic first lap if he can get past. But for Martin, perfect start. Almost had a touch from Marcus Jensen heading into the first corner, but it was all clean. The Burst Esports driver demoted to third.
Well, Jake, that's going to change a lot of the strategy now for Martin Kroenke, because it was Jensen who was running in second place. Kroenke might have thought he could stretch his legs. He can't do that anymore because I believe that Hutu is in charge mode.
Yeah, he certainly is. Also keep an eye on that start because it checked up for Jamie Fluke, and Fluke went around into his own teammate, no less. And I believe that was Antoine Higeland at the very, very beginning of this race. So really not ideal here for Apex Racing drivers on the opening lap.
Looking from the rear end of Martin Kroenke's Commander Simsport car. Hutu with DRS. He has a great opportunity here, Will. I think he's a bit too far behind, but certainly to pack on some pressure.
Yeah, and again, all of the lap down to the inside goes Gregor Hutu, and he's been able to get the inside line for turn number 2. Pass of the season there. Gregor Hutu storms himself down to the race lead. I cannot believe that. Let's have a look again on board with Gregor Hutu, because this one was something special. He came back from 4 car lengths back in towards turn number 1, launched it down to the inside. He somehow managed to make it work. He overshot the corner, and arguably, Johnny, I would say that Kroenke realized that Hutu overshot and gave him the position.
Wow. I think that Gregor Hutu didn't mean to make that move, Will. I'm going to say something very silly. I don't think he meant it. It was such a late dive down to the inside, and it was almost as if I'm hitting my braking point. Oh, wait, I'm going so much quicker.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing
race lead to the inside goes Logan Clampitt is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside, and Kroenke goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried this contact though.
slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the upset the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Welcome back to the season opener of the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series. It has been a rough one through the first 38 laps of the race. Still 62 of them to go as we get ready to pick up the green flag. Lucas Graham leads the way from 8th on the grid. Darren Clement from 11th up to 2nd. And with all the drama we've seen, Not hard to believe that people are working their way through. It's a late start from the two drivers out front, and that's going to catch out the 88 of Jason Jacoby, who is lined up with his brethren of Logan Clampitt. They're about to split the middle here of the 96 and the 32, the 44 shoving that 88 right up the middle of the pack through this number 96 car. Where and how quickly will they be able to pick up the race leaders? The 44, the 88 in that second groove, they have momentum trying to get to the front.
Yeah, Jason Jacoby and Logan Clampitt both wasting absolutely zero time as Jacoby already shoots to the lead, bumping and rubbing up the inside line. Logan Clampitt without Lodrosado shoves Sato into the grass. They're getting really loose behind him. Andrew jumped down into the infield.
I'm sorry, but what in the world was that from Logan Clampitt? I know he's been involved with drama from that number 24 a couple of times at Alador Soto. I understand that emotion's likely running a little bit high, but I'm sorry, Logan. I expect more from someone driving the NASCAR Weekend and Freeze iRacing Series than to just shove someone completely out of the racetrack and down there, nearly causing a big incident. That, simply put, was stupid.
It was indeed, and what brought out the caution was when Andrew Jump pretty much almost stopped it on the racetrack in turn number 4. That's what brought out the yellow flag. I'm shocked, honestly, that even happened. Like, Clampitt running like all the way down the inside, he pretty much almost shoved that other car off the racetrack.
That's exactly what he did. There's no other way to say it. He turns to the left. He makes contact with the 24, and he continues making contact with the 24. Logan's experienced enough to know that there's no way there's room for him down there.
Yeah, it's such a shame, especially coming from a guy like Logan Clampitt. So we're under caution again tonight. Lucas Cram, I do believe, came away with that race lead. Yes, he is in the race lead as of right now, starting in 8th place, and he's already up to 1st with all the drama that's been going on. This will put Logan Clampitt in 2nd place and Darren Clement in 3rd. Question is, who will come down for a pit stop, if anybody? That's what I'm wondering too. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a very long run there, so chances are we'll be seeing a couple of drivers come down pit road. And the thing is, though, is that, like we've been, been kind of saying it for a while, Nolan, with so few cars, we have 10 cars scored on the lead lap. There isn't a penalty to coming down pit road. You're going to be, what? You'll be starting in row 5. It's not like we have a full grid where it's like I either roll off 5th or 42nd based on me coming down pit road. With only, being penalized 6 spots for coming down and getting a full tank of fuel, I don't think there's ever a reason not to.
And I think we have established by now, though, with the fast pit stops these guys are setting when they are getting their damage fixed, I believe these guys actually have 3 fast repairs instead of the 1 that we've been assuming for this broadcast so far. So that would definitely explain how these guys get their damage fixed so quickly. We see a couple guys sticking to the apron there. Are we going to see drivers coming down pit road? It looks like we will. Yes, a good portion of the field once again coming down pit road, with Jacoby will inherit the lead because he is staying out.
Jason Jacoby.
Jason Jacoby, yes. I am so sorry to Jacoby.
Yep, that's all right. As drivers work themselves back down on towards pit road after a bit of an interesting incident, to say the least. I'm trying to think if there's much to really talk about here, Nolan, after that, because we might be on the edge of a potential strategy call, but there's no way you're going to the end of the race from here. So it's definitely probably just a couple of one-stoppers. I think the only way things get crazy strategy-wise is we pick up a caution around, what, lap 67, lap 65, excuse me, lap 65. Right now it's just looking like a one-stopper to the end.
Kevin Moffitt won that little race off pit road. He'll be in 3rd place when they come around.
Yeah, so one driver coming, Lucas Cram coming off into that 3rd spot, Kevin Moffitt as well. Actually, no, I think that, no, Jordan Coren is in 2nd, Lucas Cram is in 3rd. I think he likely only took fuel only. He's way ahead of the rest of the field. You're right, Kevin Moffitt, he did win the race off of pit road amongst the rest of them, and the rest of the drivers coming off pretty much in succession. While we wait for these guys to get formed up, we're going back to Green Flag Racing. We are going to step away for a couple of moments here on RaceSpotTV, so we will be back to pick up this as we approach the halfway point in the DJHD Truck Series season opener. lights out on the safety car as the field rolls through corners number 3 and 4. 12 cars currently scored on the lead lap after that incident we just had under the last short green flag run that we experienced. Jason Jacoby out in front of the field. He is separated by pretty much the entire pack from the number 44 of Logan Clampitt. We've been working with all race. The 88 gets on it. We are green. The outside line going absolutely nowhere, though, as the 3 of Jordan Coren is going to drop 3, 4, maybe even 5 spots, and those drivers up top are dropping out of line. So that number 3 truck up top, Nolan, not going to have any help up there.
Not any help at all. He's going to try to get it in there. Manages to get that onto the inside line. Almost. I thought he might have been spun by Kevin Moffitt, but nope, they managed to keep it clean, as now it's going to be actually Jacoby that's left out to dry, and the outside line will get that momentum as Lucas Cram gets help from Aaron Smith II, and he's going to run his way back up into the top of the field there. And it will be Jacoby now to slot himself into 3rd place. They're looking to the outside a bunch here. They are going to try to go to the outside to see if they can maybe get anything down the pad here.
There a little incident in the back, by the way. Evan Kelsey in the 11 was getting pushed by the 44 Logan Clampitt, and it was just a bit of an unfortunate bumper hook. The 11 got sent down to underneath. He got a little loose, had to go down to the apron to save it. As the 32 and the 88, they're going to try to work themselves away from Aaron Smith II. Jacoby able to just time that out to perfection and pick that spot up. Things continue heating up, and we have 2 of the drivers that have had run-ins tonight fighting with each other nose to tail on the racetrack. The 24 and the 44 dealing with each other up top as they are going to separate themselves, it seems like, for the moment. Soto's going to hook up with the 32 of Darren Clement, and the 44 Clampitt's going to try to work the middle, and Logan's going to be able to squeak by without any retaliatory action. Thankfully, on that one is the 88 of Jason Jacoby. Still works the race lead as the 14 of Elijah Garcia is going to try to get pushed out to the front.
We saw last lap coming out of this trial area here, Jordan Coren and Kevin Moffitt tangled a little bit. They almost went around. I thought they would for a second. Got right to the apron, but managed to keep it under control. The inside line managed to get a single file. Logan Clampitt already up to 2nd place after starting on the tail end of the inside line. He's going to be fighting now with Elijah Drew Garcia, or Gracia now. I'm sorry again if I'm pronouncing that name wrong, as they seem to be bump drafting their way into turn number 3. Clampitt gonna maybe help him out, maybe see if they can get a little bit of clean air here ahead of these other guys before Clampitt decides to make a move for the lead here.
It'll be interesting to see as these guys work themselves towards the front straightaway. Clampitt gonna make a move up top here on Elijah as Jacoby is doing a little bit of faking out back and forth, and the 44 is gonna get turned on the 88. A little bit of drama. I'm not sure if that was miscommunication or what the deal was, but it was over aggressive regardless, as caution's gonna fly once again. And it just seems to keep happening over and over, Nolan. The 2 most talented drivers in this field are Jason Jacoby or Logan Clampitt. And I think half the cautions we've had thus far has been those 2 trying to work together to get to the head of the field.
That was maybe a case of Clampitt trying to be overly aggressive on the defensive maneuver. These guys are allowed to block. They're allowed to make as many quote-unquote moves as they want to. So that's not actually, I think that might be why we're seeing a lot of these incidents, because these guys aren't allowed to make just one move and then they have to let them by. No, they can make as many moves as they want to. So Clampitt was trying to block on the inside. When Jacoby went to the outside, he moved up, tried to go down again on Jacoby when he went back to the inside, and that's what caused this incident, because Jacoby just turned Clampitt around and caused that big accident. We've had like, what, 7 drivers? That's like the 4th wreck today. We've had 5+ drivers involved here, and we're actually at the halfway point in a couple laps here, so we actually might see these incidents pick up even more as the race goes on and these guys start to get overly aggressive in the later stages of the race.
Well, the race goes on, they'll of course start running out of quick repairs. The thing is, though, is that we talked about this earlier, and we've kept talking about this, is that if you're Logan Clampitt, first of all, if you're Logan, why would you defend that position so hard? And secondly, if you're Jason Jacoby, why would you fight for it so much? Because you're coming to not even halfway in a plate race. It's, what, 5 drivers, I think, well, with basically 10 drivers encompassing the lead pack. What does Logan Clampitt lose if he drops that position? Yeah, he might at worst go to the pack with a 10-car train that he's already multiple times tonight driven his way to the front. And the 88 has just as good of a truck as the 44 does for sure. So even if he just lifts out of it and he just gets left out to dry on the high line, same exact penalty for him. it just seems like these guys, it seems like they think that they're racing for $1 million in what is the season opener of a league, which I know is a big deal for the league and for Ed Harris, or excuse me, for DJ Harris Designs, and for the series as a whole. It's a season opener, it's a big deal, but it's not such a big deal that you need to be wrecking each other inside of the first half of the race.
I can actually agree with that statement there, Randy. And I remember how I talked at the beginning, when I discussed this at the beginning of the race. These guys need to take it easy. It's a long race. It's 200 miles. It's 100 laps. And this is not a short track. This track is 2.5 miles long. So you have a lot of time to make up spots. If you lose out on a spot or two, that's fine. You're going to have like 100 miles now to get that spot back? You really don't need to be fighting so hard. Now, Jason Jacoby, I can understand a little bit because he started on pole position. He wants first place back as soon as he can. Logan Clampitt never qualified, so I'm not sure what the game plan kind of is at this point for anybody. It's very interesting because we've had so many different drivers in the lead of this race, mostly because of various incidents that have happened throughout this race. As we saw Jordan Coren, he was involved in an accident earlier. He's up in first place now.
Yeah, and the other thing is of course, if you are Jason Jacoby, it still doesn't make much sense to me, even though you qualified on pole, to be that aggressive trying to get to the front. Yeah, I understand you want to be at the front. Here's the other thing for Logan Clampitt. I think Logan's just run himself out of quick repairs. So now the 44, you seem like he had a truck that could potentially win. He's down on pit road with a destroyed truck, completely out of that thing. Likely probably going to be, I'd imagine, either taking as many repairs as he can. If not, he'll have to essentially just be checking out because he's not currently in that truck. So it doesn't look like any quick repairs for him will be coming through. The 88 of Jason Jacoby not been caught up in as many incidents. He's back out onto the racetrack with a complete bill of health on that machine. But we're down to, I think, what, 7, 8 trucks essentially encompassing the lead group?
That's what I'm thinking. Oh, Logan, sorry, no, I was looking at the wrong truck. Alador Soto is still in this truck, so we had 3 trucks that it seemed to have run out of fast repairs. That was Lucas Cram, Logan Clampitt. We have 1 other truck on pit road, and that is Soto in the 24 truck. So he's one of the other guys that's ran out of stops. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle from his truck, so I think they're trying to work on it now. Logan Clampitt's blinking a little bit, but he's back into his truck now. So these guys are just about to get going off pit road, it would look like. Jason Jacoby working his way around.
Okay, never mind. Logan had another quick repair, apparently. Thought he did, because he's back in with a complete bill of health, so...
I don't know then. If you have a quick repair, why would you want to put yourself a lap down? He was just waved around the pace car, but he's 2 laps down now. Why would you... I wonder if maybe while he was getting the car fixed, he jumped out of the truck, maybe had a word or two with some of the other guys, I'm not sure, and then maybe jump back in while he was getting the truck.
Let's just be real, might have used the restroom. That's probably a little bit more likely. But yeah, so I mean, Logan's going to be coming in 2 laps down, so not understanding what happened here. Maybe he thought he was out of quick repairs when he wasn't, not exactly sure. I'm trying to get a count on how many that actually is for Logan up until this point. I'm going to sift through and see if I can see how many times that car has been destroyed. 1, I see 2. That may have been the 3rd one right there. So that may have been Logan's final one right there. We'll have to wait and see to find out when eventually this goes back to green. And if anything, with the way that Logan's been driving, we'll likely be able to find out right then and there. Because if Logan is not pushing nearly as aggressively as he was in the early stages, that'll sort of answer the question for us if he has any more or not.
Gracia and Aaron Smith coming down to pit road as I think we're going to be coming around with 1 to green. Yes, lights out on the pace cars, going green this time by. Late pit call decision by these 2. I wonder if maybe, do you know if we have a rule where lap cars have to pit after the cars on the lead lap? I wouldn't think so, because these are 2 guys that are on the lead lap. So again, I'm not sure what the strategy calls are here. Maybe they're trying to get some clean air.
Well, they're just topping up. They're just topping up. So by coming down at the latest possible time, they'll be getting a little bit extra fuel into that truck. Of course, you don't use a lot of gas under caution, but it's just that little bit to get yourself sort of topped up and get yourself out there. Logan Clampitt will be the first truck scored 1 lap down, though, as he comes up towards the rest of the field. And like I said, we've been talking about this on and off, Nolan. 9 trucks currently scored on the lead lap. Me, if I'm anyone in this field, I might as well just come down pit road on that final lap before we get 1 to go. just because I'd rather have the field. We're going to be coming back to green with 47 laps remaining in the event, as actually I think Logan just got another wave around. So is the 44 just going to be freebie to being a car in the lead lap?
I'm thinking that could be the case. He's either one lap down now, or he's going to be on the lead lap at this point.
He was just one lap down. We'll see in just a second. Timing will update when he crosses the stripe right about now. So Logan will be on the lead lap if he can get to the pack.
Oh, no chance of that happening. No chance of that happening. He's just entering turn 2 right now, and these guys are already on the front straightaway. There's no chance for that.
Yeah, so he's going to be he's going to be about half a lap down, but stored on the lead lap. Jordan Clampitt is going to pick up the restart in the DJHD Truck Series season opener here at Daytona. We have crossed the halfway mark. Bulk of the field has somehow found themselves on pit road with big damage. Let's see what can happen as Jordan Clampitt gets a good restart, going to allow Evan Kelsey to drop down to the inside in that second row, and they will lead as they stream off in towards 1 and 2. The 88 of Jason Jacoby on that second row. He's more or less all by himself, except for Aaron Smith II, who just jumped out there through turns 1 and 2. They stream down the back straightaway for the 53rd time.
We can see Evan Kelsey in second place. He started back in 15th, and now he's only second place. And he's been in a couple of incidents, I believe. So he might try to take it easy here and maybe see if he can just maintain second place, because he's in a good spot considering he started all the way back second to last. Now he's up second to first. Jason Jacoby working the outside line with the help of Lucas Cram, 2 drivers that have also found in the mid of the worst luck end of the pool tonight. But already, there you go, back up to the front for Jason Jacoby.
It gets himself a nice little push there from the 8 machine of Lucas Cram, and those two will inherit the race lead as they stream through corners number 1 and 2 inside of the second half of this race. And now as we look at things, Nolan, things I think are going to pretty much start single flying themselves out. We only have one truck running that upper groove, and it's a pink one in the depth of the field, and Aaron Smith II just allowed him back down to the inside. That was Jordan Coren. So we have one long train of machines here working themselves through corners number 3 and 4. Commitment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trucks. How strong this lead pack is. They head down towards start finish.
I'm kind of interested to see, I'm mildly interested to see where Logan Clampitt could come up with all of this, because I thought maybe with the extra speed that he had coming to the restart, maybe he could get momentum and catch up with these guys, but no, he hasn't caught up with them. He's running 174 miles an hour right now. These guys are running 183 because they got a draft, so these guys are a good like 10 miles an hour faster than he is. They are going to catch him eventually because he has absolutely zero help, not even a chance of help at this point. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to do when these guys come around to him, or maybe, just maybe, a caution can come up, and that could save his race.
That's the only thing that he really can have that can help him, unless he gets some sort of wonky strategy that gets him to the end of the race better than the rest of these guys, but absolutely no help whatsoever. And that gap out, I mean, he's lapping 2 seconds per lap slower every single lap. So I don't think there's any way that Logan really could hope to reel in this pack unless something happens. We got a truck in the wall in 1 and 2, and we might just have it happen here. Who is that? That was Evan Kelsey. Another truck maybe? Nope, I take that back. So Evan Kelsey finds the outside wall. That was nearly the help Logan needed.
Just about, and Evan Kelsey has dropped back heavily. He is now completely out of the draft, so very unfortunate mistake by Kelsey. Now he's in the same boat as Clampitt. He's gonna be hoping that these guys can maybe get overly aggressive up here and start making some aggressive maneuvers. I think I'm gonna go back to my prediction that might be something we'll see maybe in the last 25 laps of the race. Definitely, that's probably where we're going to be able to see it.
Yeah, that's going to be really where this race, I think, needs to pick up. These guys work themselves through in this lead pack. I suspect that this group will get themselves single file, especially after what just happened to Evan Kelsey. I think if you're any of these guys, you look at that lime green truck that has quickly left a rearview mirror and be like, oh, I have a chance to win this race, but if I get crazy and racy, well, then I could pretty much be in a situation in the second half of the race. They're on the outside looking in. Some people want to run up top, though, as Darren Clement and Andrew Drump. They're going to try to work that outside line and push their way forward. They're not close enough just yet to get a run.
Not just yet. I think we're going to be seeing things settle down here for a couple laps at least, because we're running pretty much single file. Even though these guys stepped to the outside, they're still running single file. We saw Coren maybe thinking about going out to either block them or maybe help out with them, but no, he's going to stay down with these other guys who are running the inside line. Jacoby right where he wants to be with the help of Lucas Cram. These two guys have actually been running really closer together all race. They've been really helping each other out. It's quite curious. Oh, Cram's doing a little bit of flickering there on the back straightaway.
Yep, little bit of technical issues. We've seen that occasionally. Hopefully it stays relatively smooth though, as those drivers in the back of the pack continue trying to work that outside line, but they've struggled being able to line themselves up line and stern and get the sort of the runs that we've been seeing from the likes of both Jason Jacoby and Logan Clampitt, but they're finally going to be able to do it. They give themselves a nice shove from the back of the field. So here comes Andrew Jump as well as Darren Clement from that outside groove. Big push coming out here, and the 96 to the 32, they're going to go from running to the tail end of this little pack to get themselves up near the front as they hit sort of the brick wall of air and start working themselves backwards a little bit after losing all that momentum.
Whenever I'm still focusing a little bit on Lucas Cram when he was flickering in and out a little bit there. I'm keeping one eye on him because the one thing I don't want to see is technical issues, especially with the blinking in and out. Whenever that happens anywhere, I just hold my breath, because that's exactly how we actually got our first caution tonight, is by something like what happened there, as Cram really working to shove Jacoby up there. A little bit of a gap now between Jump and Clement, but they're going to be working to get together. Jump getting a little close to that 42 truck, but they're going to separate themselves again. Now they're going to be bump drafting. We could have that 2x2 battle for first and second that we've been seeing all night so far.
It'll be 40 laps to go when they get to start finish here, coming to lap number 61 of 100. Jason Jacoby still leads. That 96 truck of Andrew Jump going to try to shove the 32 of Darren Clement out to the front of the field. They head off through 3 and 4. The 96 not quite close enough to make the move just yet. It's going to get a little bit loose. That Tabasco machine is going to, things are going to get a little bit spicy with the traction on that machine, as he does a good job holding on to that. As Kevin Moffitt, you see him down low. We're riding on board with him. Likely would have seen that out of the corner of his eye, and that would have not been a nice feeling, seeing that green and white truck to your outside get a big bite of oversteer as he worked his way through corners number 3 and 4.
I saw Moffitt actually almost a little pushed up the track just a little bit there, so maybe a bit of side force kind of helping him move his way up the track. Lucas Cram now looking to the inside of Jacoby coming off of turn 2, as I think Clement's going to have a great run here. He's now back up, and now he's going to be fighting it out with Jacoby for the race lead.
For how long, as things are going to get a little bit dicey. The third car in line on the inside gets a sketchy moment as the second car in line up top gets sketchy as well. The A machine, though, is going to hop up top Lucas Cram, and he's going to work the momentum and slingshot Jason Jacoby. Excellent work there. That was very well timed for the driver in that Susan G. Cohen machine, and he's going to immediately drop down to the bottom. And he's going to say, thank you, Darren Clement, for the push, but I don't need you anymore.
I'm watching Moffitt and Jump back here. They are all over the place, weaving left and right throughout turn number 2. Every time one of these guys wiggles just a little bit, I think, oh, this is where it's gonna happen here. 2x2 for first, second, and third. Jacoby has lost the lead. Lucas Cram now in first place. He's going to be fighting it out now with Clement, but not quite there. Clement loses out in the turn. Andrew Jump, and I think Andrew Jump, with the help of Coren, who's now got himself into that outside line, they might have a better chance now of maintaining that lead. As we can see up front there, a car in the distance. Who was that? Well, that is none other than Logan Clampitt.
He's going to likely keep himself down at the bottom. He'll be seeing this pack come through. Question is, will he stay on the bottom, or will he eventually go up top? Usually up top is where it's easiest to go, and that's where he's actually going to go through and let this field scream on past. But he will be part of this pack. The 44 truck does not have damage. He just doesn't have a drafting partner. This group will have to stay too wide, and the 44 Logan Clampitt, look for him to try to latch onto the back of the field. He actually probably could have tried to latch onto that 96 machine a little bit and trying to pull down maybe a little bit earlier, but he chose not to. But he is going to catch the rear of this field and try to work the draft off Elijah Gracia at the back of the field. But did he wait too long? He's starting to get the slipstream and pick up pace, but he's just trying to get there.
even if he were to pick it up, I think the most he could hope for was that there was, again, like an incident, but he doesn't get involved in it, because even if he did catch these guys, he'd have to pass all of them, and then he'd have to work his way all the way around the track with pretty much no help to get himself up there.
Yeah, he's lost. I think he waited a little bit too long. He had the opportunity, I think, to drop down and start trying to pick that speed up off the back of the 96 car of Andrew Jump, but he just didn't. He opted not to do that, which is a good move. It's definitely a smart and sporting move, leaving those guys at the bottom that lane as an option if they chose to get up there. But regardless, the end result's the same for Logan, because he's still the first car one lap down. There's no way he's going to unlap himself. He's not Bill Elliott at Talladega. So all he has to do really is sit here and potentially get himself the wave around when eventually an incident ends up happening. So regardless if he's part of this pack or not, it's honestly probably just smarter if he's not part of the pack, to be honest.
Now, speaking of these little incidents, when do you think it's going to happen? Little bit of a tap on the right rear from Andrew Jump. That tap went to Darren Clement into his right rear. A little bit of a tiny, tiny wiggle. Very subtle, but they're getting there. I think it's not going to be long before we see something else happen. How long do you think they'll last? Because I'm reckoning not much longer from here.
It is one of those moments, you're right. This race, logically, this race should go to the end caution-free due to how due to the fact that there's so few trucks fighting it out for the race victory. I mean, there's absolutely no one on the racetrack. We have 8 trucks in this lead fight, 9 if you count Logan. And then you have Evan Kelsey, who's 40 seconds off this lead group, and is actually going to get caught by these guys. They're actually going to go 3 wide for the race lead. They're going to say, you know what, we do not want Jason Jacoby fighting with us, and we're going to have 2 trucks on the bottom and 3 on the outside trying to split him. The 32 of Darren Clement, I don't think is going to have the momentum, and I don't think he has the push to help out. A little bit of a touch from the 8 and the 88 coming through. Corners number 3 and 4 as they work onto the tri-oval. So Jacoby is still fighting strong with absolutely no draft help whatsoever through the tri-oval. They're going to do a good job. The 42 catches the apron a little bit. The 96 and the 32 come off come down the inside a little bit, nervous with the wall. The 42 comes up to the racetrack, nearly touches that 88 of Jacoby once again. So they're doing a good job maintaining 3 wide as the 32 comes back into existence there as the 96 of Andrew Jump. I think likely just jumped just a little bit as Logan Clampitt's getting involved with this as well, and might be the help that the 88 of Jason Jacoby needs.
Kevin Moffitt really nailing the back end of that number 8 truck over and over again. Throughout that entire battle, he was wiggling left and right repeatedly through there. Oh, gets into Logan Clampitt and pushes him onto the apron. We can see, yes, that's Evan Kelsey that they're about to lap now. So how will this affect things? This Logan Clampitt, sorry, Logan. Jason Jacoby is in a good spot right now to get right around Kelsey. See how they're going to all brush around him on the outside line. And this is going to be really close here.
There it is. There's the incident right there. Truck goes around as Nolan starts laughing maniacally. Kevin Moffitt is going to be the truck that I think is the big loser in that one. Thing sent into the outside wall after that incident with Evan Kelsey. Not much really Evan could do there at all. He was down up against the yellow line. I don't think the 42 just misjudged how quickly he was going to lap him. Just a little bit of contact. And who all was involved when that one? Moffitt was involved. It looked like Logan just barely sneaked by with that incident. Indeed, he did. About probably a foot, maybe 6 inches, maybe even less between Logan and that spinning truck. That would have been disaster for Logan, as this is the crash that should get him the wave around, and he'll have a clean truck to work with.
Yes, this indeed could give Logan Clampitt the lead, and I'm sorry for my maniacal outburst there. This is the kind of racing that I love to see, even with the small group of trucks here. These guys, they make all of these moves, and they're really aggressive, and I really love aggressive racing. There's just something about it that captivates me. So this type of racing is probably honestly one of my favorites here, and despite only having like 8 to 10 trucks in this lead field, they're still providing the better show than I've seen usually, even IRL sometimes.
The Indy Racing League doesn't go by that moniker anymore, and they tend to put on some good action. Regardless, we're going to have 7 cars on the lead lap, and the 44 of Logan Clampitt taking the wave around. We are going to step aside here in just a moment. here on RaceSpotTV. We'll be back here shortly to bring you the exciting climax of this event as we get ready for the entire field to come down on towards pit road. Do not go away.
That 6-car pulls right up to the bumper on the 3. He goes to the head down the backstretch. This time by for the last time, 2 corners to settle the score. It's Weishart on the outside by now. No contact is made. It's going to be a duel here. These two are going to go at it to the stripe. Does Weishart have anything left in the tank? The 12 car is going to spin off the corner. Here comes Weishart back. Weishart on the outside. Side and fade down low. Who's going to get into the stripe? And it is side and faded by inches.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
Lights out and coming back to green in the DJ Harris Designs season opener at Daytona, and your eyes are not fooling you. We have 7 trucks currently on the racetrack. There are 2 more that are coming off of pit road, Aaron Smith and Elijah Drew Gracia, but they are well and truly back as they work themselves down the back straightaway. They should be able to just get to the back of this pack, which will be good for them. So we will boost that up to 9 trucks on the racetrack after a bit of a strategy call from them. You can just about hear Nolan go to the end of this race on a complete fuel tank. Excuse me. So if things stay green, do not expect drivers coming down pit road. However, if yellows come out, you can still come down pit road for tires. And I think anything more than 10 laps, I think you might have, there's really no reason to not come down and take tires as the field gets ready for the restart. They come off turn 4, Lucas Cram in command of it. You see that outside line is kind of barren at the moment. The 8 machine is about to pick up that throttle. And we are green as Lucas Cram and Jason Jacoby will lead them into turn number 1.
Lucas Cram, I think, is definitely going to get the jump here on Jason Jacoby. You can already see that because there's only, like you said, a very barren outside line. We only actually had 2 drivers on the outside line, Jordan Coren and Jason Jacoby. But Coren caught up with Jacoby pretty quickly. So I think with some good help from Logan Clampitt, who is now on the lead lap, and he's now caught up with them, they can put in a good fight yet. And I wonder, do you think Logan Clampitt will go and try to win the race despite everything that's happened so far? We saw him look at the outside, almost try to make it 3 wide in that 3rd group, but he decided to put it back in there and wait just a little longer.
There's roughly a 100% chance that Logan's going to go out and try to win this race. The question is, though, now that he's 100% out of those resets and those fast repairs, is how aggressive is he actually going to be with it? You see him working that top groove, doing a little bit of back and forth with that number 3 machine of Jordan Coren. Gets a little bit of an opening, but not going to go for it. We know that Jason Jacoby and Logan Clampitt, they were sort of the dynamic duo and working together with themselves very well. So if Logan can get there, they may be an unstoppable duo unless potentially get into an incident here. But the question is going to be is, can Logan get through Jordan? And he's not showing the aggressiveness he did early on.
No, he isn't. In fact, he's actually dropping back a good bit. Aaron Smith now on his outside, so Clampitt eased off quite a bit there. I'm actually surprised that he did that based on what we've seen of him throughout the previous laps of this race. We're coming out to lap 75 now. We're going to have 25 laps to go in only 2 laps time. And we could see there's behind him Kevin Moffitt also getting a little aggressive. Logan Clampitt is being hung out to dry here. Everybody else is trying to find other partners to work with, it would seem. Trying to work their way back to the front. Right now, I think that battle for the lead is down to Lucas Cram and Jason Jacoby for the time being. As we can see, oh, there Logan Clampitt is. He is further towards the back of the pack, but he is beginning to make up positions again. So I think he is still definitely in this fight.
100%. I don't think there's any way you can count Logan out. A driver of his stature and as quick as that truck has been all night. You see the 88 of Jason Jacoby. He was pushed up to the front of the field by that 3 truck. They're doing a good job. They've sort of hit some, they've sort of lost their momentum and their ability to work their way forward. So Lucas Cram is going to lead this lap. Jason needs all the help he can get as the 44 is going to go back to that top side. And he's reeling in that 3 machine of Jordan Coren. How will Jacoby and Logan work together here? Potentially get around this 3 truck. Logan's going to go to that ultra high line and make it 3 wide. Not quite able to pull alongside though. Logan's trying to find an opening anyway. I think that he can get to that 88 machine as Coren is still trying to stay hooked up on the 88. As one driver comes up out in front of them, that's going to be Darren Clement. Pulls up to the outside, and they're going to go 3 wide for this race lead as Jacoby's going to split the middle.
Wow, Darren Clement back in 2nd place. He tried to make a really aggressive move to get to the outside line. Went a little too high, got a tap in the rear from Jason Jacoby, and just dropped back the field so heavily. He almost got turned by Jordan Coren in turn number 3 as well. So a bit of a hairy moment for that 32 car. He's gonna catch up now to Jacoby. They're gonna be fighting out. Right now though, the battle for the lead turns to 3 drivers. Logan Clampitt in 3rd, Andrew Jump in 2nd, and Lucas Cram still fighting for 1st.
Good move there by those guys as Logan's going to immediately jump to the top side. Andrew Jump wanted to do the same and block him, but wasn't able to do so. And look at the number of cars they're going to follow. That 44 machine to the front. Everyone comes up behind, supporting that JDR graphics truck of Logan Clampitt, but he's going to play them like a fiddle because Jacoby's able to get clear and sucks up to the back of the 44 machine of the 32. Nearly got taken out. Jason nearly swung across the nose of the 32 of Darren Clement. Fantastic driving there by Darren. Barry heads up to not pretty much essentially pit maneuver the 88 there. The fact that Jacoby's still in this thing really in the hands of the 32 right there.
Andrew Jump also getting really squirrely. He's been wiggling back and forth, left to right, all the way down the back straightaway. There he goes again, maneuvering back and forth on the back end of Lucas Cram. I'm surprised he hasn't taken himself out and Cram as well. Logan Clampitt with Jason Jacoby. They're fighting their way back up for the lead now. Now it's Clampitt with the lead. Now it's going to be Cram with the lead. It's going back and forth right here. This is where things could get really antsy. We're in the last quarter of the race now, so things are about to kick up about, I'd say, what, 10 gears? That sounds about right.
That definitely seems like it. As Logan's going to lead that lap. As Jacoby is still sitting there patiently. We've seen the 88 push the 44 to the front a couple of times tonight. We've also seen the inverse happen, so we know that these two on that outside have the speed and they have the ability to push their way out forward, but will they be able to do it here late in the race? These drivers being much more aggressive down the back straightaway, working lap number 79, coming to 21 laps to go. Logan Clampitt might just about be getting clear as the 8 of Lucas Cram is getting a big shove from the 96 of Andrew Jump. Logan's going to be able to get clear. Actually, no, I take that back. Logan got clear and Jacoby got clear as well, and Jacoby decided to leave Logan out to dry as Logan's going to try to split down onto the inside, and he just barely squeezes into that second spot.
At the rate these guys are driving, I predict we're at least going to get one more caution, if not two. Andrew Jump once again wiggling back and forth. I'm really curious to wonder what's going on inside that race car. We saw them on the back straightaway touch. I think he touched Lucas Cram just a little bit, because you saw on that onboard camera Jump actually phase a little bit into the back of Lucas Cram. So very lucky he didn't completely hook him around there. Really surprised that he didn't. I thought for sure that was going to be that really big incident that we thought might happen coming into these final laps.
In case you can't tell how close the fight is, check out the timing there between the 44 and the 88 as Logan's going to fake down low on Jason Jacoby. Jason's going to give the spot up. So interesting bit of strategy here by Jason. The 44 is going to go to the bottom and the 88 will go into that third spot. So what do you think the logic is here with Jacoby, Nolan? Because I don't see why he would just give those first two spots up so easily. Maybe he has a teammate or something we're unaware of, but Jacoby just cycling back to that third place. Maybe they want to, maybe you want to be in the order where you want Logan in front of you inside the final 20 laps to go. He's going to suck one driver up to the front with him, though. Then immediately that driver hangs them out to dry as Logan's going to pick up the 88 as he gets a run up top.
Yeah, Jason, very interesting move by Jason to go high and let Lucas and Logan by on the inside line. I wasn't expecting that in the slightest, seeing how hard that Jason's been fighting to get that lead back all race. So I think maybe he's got, I guess, a hidden strategy in mind that he's not letting anybody in on just yet. I think he's definitely going to be pouncing though, because we're within 20 laps to go now. So definitely going to be seeing some very aggressive moves coming in, especially when we get below 10 to go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a guarantee. Will we get there under green, though? It's Jacoby and Clampitt. They're going to duke it out for the front. The 88 of Jacoby had to put a couple wheels underneath the yellow line. Move was clean, though, because Logan kind of forced him down there. 96 of Andrew Jump. He's the one who latches onto the back of that 44 car now, as Lucas Cram is going to be pushing the 88. So we've seen this earlier on in this race, Nolan. These two have one of them lead the top groove and one of them lead the bottom groove, and it didn't end too well. We ended up getting a caution from that situation. I think now, while they're going to be more aggressive with one another, they need to play nicer with those trucks behind them because they know how difficult it is to pass on that outside third groove.
Extremely difficult to pass up high, especially because it hasn't really been used a lot. So that's where a lot of the old rubber. Could be. There's going to get turned. Clampitt's hard to the wall. Caution is out. That's exactly what we thought was going to happen. Warden Truck spinning up front. Andrew Jump and Aaron Smith are both going around. And I'm not sure who's in the lead. It was either Jason or Lucas Cram. One of the two.
Not really sure just yet, but that's not really what's important at this phase of the race, given the number of trucks. But the 44 Logan Clampitt trying to hold off Andrew Jump, or excuse me, not Andrew Jump, trying to hold off, actually no, I take that back, it was Andrew Jump, as well as dealing with Jacoby, who just hopped up to the outside in front of him, had to check up just a little bit. Andrew Jump, not realizing that, ends up hooking that number 44, and Logan gets thrown into the outside wall. Some way sort of innocent in that instant. The 96 of Andrew Jump gets caught up in that one as well. The notable thing is that the 44 Logan Clampitt, we are pretty sure here, Nolan, that was the last reset he had available to him for this event. That might be the end of him for tonight.
Yeah, the nose of that truck is absolutely demolished. It's bent up all over the place, got damage on the back end from him as well. I think Andrew Jump is also going to be down for the count, because you can see in that replay, Andrew Jump did jump off the ground. A little bit of irony to the name there. I really apologize. That was a completely unintended pun on my part. So he jumped off the ground a little bit there off of one of those little roads in the infield on the back straightaway. So that's probably going to put him out as well. Not as much damage as Logan, but definitely enough to really injure his attempts to win this race.
Now, with about 15 or so laps left in this race, everyone's going to come down pit road. I don't think fuel is really a concern. Actually, I take that back. Lucas Cram as well as Darren Clement are going to stay out. Oh, and one truck actually spins, trying to fake everybody out. That's Kevin Moffitt. Congratulations, you just played yourself as he was trying to do the little bit of a fake-a-rooney and come down on towards pit road. That's an embarrassing mistake to make, Nolan, considering the fact that there's only 8 cars. It's the difference between restarting yourself in 3rd or restarting yourself in 8th. Not really a huge difference maker, and he put so much into that he ends up spinning himself right off the racetrack into the wall.
I think it was definitely a very late call to make that fake. Maybe he waited a little too late or tried to do it too suddenly. We saw Lucas Cram stayed out at the last second. Darren Clement stayed out. They were probably trying to fake people out as well. They did a good job of it. Unfortunately, Kevin Moffitt didn't quite get it down pat, as he ended up turning himself into the outside wall. Now he's got damage on the nose, and now he's he might be out of contention for the win for this race as well. He is in 3rd place though as of right now, so I'm not sure. Maybe if he can use the draft right, he can still get a good spot out of this race.
We'll have to wait and see, and things are going to be interesting. Strategy now done and over with. There's nothing more to talk about. It's all going to come to what happens on the racetrack. We are going to step aside for a couple moments on RaceSpotTV and then bring you the exciting finish of this event, the season opener for the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series. That do not go away.
Last year I was sitting at a desk as a sales manager, and now I'm official McLaren F1 simulated test driver.
So it's 1.4 behind.
This opportunity is huge.
Faster than the factory McLaren driver, and he's done 6 laps.
Let's go race.
Welcome back to RaceSpotTV as the DJ Truck Series gets ready for an exciting climax here at Daytona. Coming to green with 13 laps to go. It's going to be the 8 of Lucas Cram who leads the way over the 32 of Darren Clement. Kevin Moffitt in third. Those top 3 did not come down pit road. The rest of the field, in case fuel was an issue, which I do not think it was, they at least have fresh rubber as they get on the throttle and green flag waves here at Daytona as we approach 10 to go.
Lucas Cram immediately clearing the 32 of Darren Clement is going to give him a little bit of a bump in the back, trying to hook up with him and help him get some more clean air. We see Jason at the back there. He's beginning to fade just a little bit. Clampitt once again moved to the outside in the back, but that's going to allow Aaron Smith to get underneath him. Clampitt maybe looking to get down there and cut him off, but nope, not quite here. As Clement looks to take the outside, here comes Jason up to the lead. They're getting really sideways into the wall hard behind them. That's going to be another spin. It looks like, no, they don't. They managed to somehow hang on to that 3 wide for the lead. This is where it's going to get spicy.
No idea what was happening on that upper groove. It just seemed like those drivers were not able to check up. I think drivers up top that were pushing just did not lift off the throttle. So unfortunate there for a couple of those drivers. An 88 of Jason Jacoby. He's going to be on the outside, fighting now with the 8 of Lucas Cram. I believe it's going to be Darren Clement on the outside. Yes, it is. Going to be pushing the 88 of Jason Jacoby. Logan Clampitt as well. Third truck in line. It in what is now a 6-truck fight for the race lead. Lucas Cram leading the inside. Kevin Moffitt in the second slot in that inside row. And then you have Elijah Gracia in what is technically that third spot, but losing ground. The 88 of Jason Jacoby, he's able to take the race lead and get himself down to the inside. Now Darren Clement leads that outside groove, which is only 2 trucks strong.
Well, but that two truck run up there, they've got Logan Clampitt helping them out, and he's been really fast, really been able to work that outside line to his advantages. He's going to help out Darren Clement now. It looks like Lucas Cram getting up there with Jason, trying to make this work. This could get interesting here. We're 11 laps to go in this race, 10 at the line. We're counting down the laps, and 10 laps, you'd be surprised how quickly that can go when you're running with these guys who are fighting for every little inch of position. Because if you let off the throttle here so much as like maybe even a millisecond, that's enough to lose you out. Like 3 or 4 spots. We have a caution out on the racetrack. The Jordan Coren has spun in turn number 2, coming to the back straightaway.
Who is he getting pushed by? Because he was all by himself on the racetrack. It was the 96 of Andrew Jump. They were sort of working together. So 2 trucks fighting for 8th place essentially on the racetrack get themselves into an incident. I'm almost not sure if that may not have been retaliatory for something that happened earlier in the race, because I don't know, the way Jordan gets turned is a little interesting. We'll have to watch an onboard with Andrew to see if maybe he did anything a little sketch with his hands. He pulls alongside. Nah, I don't think so looking at it. I think that was just unfortunate. So a caution that happens well and truly from people who aren't fighting for the win whatsoever.
I was beginning to think, when you say it could have been retaliation.
We just need to keep the theme, though. It's still Logan Clampitt's fault.
Of course, we're always going to keep with that theme, though. We can't leave that, can we? Now, one of the interesting things that I found when you mentioned retaliation, remember just even a lap earlier, Jordan Coren got into the wall. He and Andrew Jump made a little bit of contact. So when you mentioned retaliation, I thought that could have been for that, but looking at the onboard camera, I think it was actually Coren that tried to go down to block the position. Maybe shouldn't have, because he ended up just really spinning himself across the nose of Jump.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It was just an unfortunate incident. No other way to say it. I don't think it was, it wasn't even really a racing incident. It was just flat out an accident. One driver is going to think about coming down pit road. I don't think you faked out anybody in a million years, Lucas Cram. But a 10 out of 10 acting as a driver from the back of the pack will come down pit road. That's Andrew Jump. Of course, his truck is heavily damaged. A little surprised Alador Soto isn't coming down pit road, as well as Kevin Moffitt. Especially these drivers at the back of the field here, Nolan, your Alador Sotos as well as your Kevin Moffitts. No reason to not just come down pit road right now and get get that truck as repaired as you possibly can. Is actually Alador Sotos. I take that back. He's not even on the lead lap. He's taking a wave around. But for Kevin, I don't see why he wouldn't come down pit road and get that truck as repaired as he can. He's already at the back of the lead pack in 7th. Literally no penalty for him to come down pit road and max out the repairs.
Yeah, you were talking about how Alder Soto wasn't on the lead lap. He's actually 35 laps down, and that's because in one of our earlier cautions, he went down and just wasn't able to get the truck out until now. He still has damage on the nose, so it's a little unfortunate for him, but, you know, it's something that's kind of unavoidable at this point. I think he's just going out to put in laps at this point, maybe get the experience or, I guess, practice in the field for later races. I'm really interested to see if we get another caution, it could be a race ender. But the interesting thing about cautions, under 5 to go, we have a little special rule here this series, it would seem. We don't freeze the field like you would normally see under caution. If they throw a caution with 5 to go or below, they're going to let them race back to the line, and then that will be the decider for the race. So, what do you think is going to happen with that rule in mind?
I think if a caution happens, people are going to get hyper aggressive, and we're likely going to see more people wreck before they get to start finish.
That's actually not far off from what I was thinking, to be honest with you. Logan Clampitt on the apron, is he going to go down? I would suspect him not to. Oh, there's Kevin Moffitt pulling off to pit road. No, he's faking him out. And it looks like, oh, never mind. No, Andrew Jump is just coming, wait, he's coming back down pit road. Wasn't he just there, though?
Yeah, but, well, he's because of his situation, he doesn't have a fast repair. He has to come down pit road, get as much repairs as he can, and then be able to catch the field again and then come back down pit road.
Ah, I see. That's an interesting call there. That's something I wouldn't have thought about. I haven't run in these long run races yet in iRacing, but that's actually a very interesting strategy. So thank you to Andrew Jump. I'll keep that in mind for if I ever get up to this level.
He's going to come down pit road, max out the repairs as much as he can, get as much speed as he can for this late phase of the race. Again, just to re-emphasize the situation, it's going to be Jacoby, Clampitt, Cram, and Elijah Drew Garcia, your top 5 on the restart. Aaron Smith will be in 6th, Kevin Moffitt in 7th, Jordan Coren in 8th, and Andrew Jump, the driver with the greatest strategy ever, who actually does have a little bit more of that truck repaired after that second trip down on towards pit road. They're going to be the drivers restarting here. And this deep in the race here, sort of your pick, Nolan. If you had to pick somebody to win this thing from when we go to green, who is it? Is it the 44 of Logan Clampitt, who's fast but been aggressive all race long? The 88 of Jacoby, who's been fast and aggressive but not quite as aggressive as the 44? Will it be one of these other guys who's sort of a sleeper, the likes of Darren Clement or Lucas Cram or Elijah Gracia?
I would assume it would be Jason Jacoby, to be honest with you. He had pole position. He kept the lead for a really long time at the start of the race, coming up to our first caution. And he's been doing a fantastic job of getting back up to the lead and really fighting hard to keep it. But if I had to pick a different driver, probably Logan Clampitt, actually. I'm a little surprised. It seems that he did have another fast repair on him, so a little interesting there. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going green with only 6 laps to go. That means 6 to go, and then with 5 laps to go, that's going to put our little special yellow flag rule into place. So I think that we could get some bold moves, maybe even reckless, maybe stupid maneuvers even. It's really all up in the air at this point. Strategy, like you said, out the window. It's really every man for himself at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. And the other interesting talking point here, Nolan, 88 and the 44, they've been working together all race long. The 88 leads this race on the inside row. Logan Clampitt starting in row number 2. So they're already hooked up if they decide that they want to work together and try to push one of themselves or the other to the win of this race.
I think Logan Clampitt might decide to hook up with Jason for the first few laps of the restart. But after that, maybe with 2 to go or even 1 to go, Clampitt is going to definitely make a move, whether it be to the outside or the inside. That'll depend on where drivers are at with their position at the time. But that's something that we need to prepare for, is some excitement here coming to the white flag, I would assume. If of course, we don't crash before that.
Coming to the restart with 6 laps to go. Nolan says it's going to have to be a bold move. You better engage your caps lock and look through your toolbar through that super thick B because you need to get bold right here, right now. iRacing safety car comes down to the safety of pit road in just a moment, and the 88 of Jason Jacoby will be in command of the field. Will he orchestrate the restart with the 44? Answer will be kind of, sort of. 6 laps to go as they cross the stripe heading in towards turn number 1, and this is going to set Logan up for a big run when he eventually gets the slipstream, likely through the center of 1 and 2, and definitely going down the super stretch.
Jason cleared the field pretty much immediately, and Clampitt does the same coming into turn number 2. Think what, get there, there he goes, move to the outside earlier than I thought he would. I thought he would actually have taken that move earlier, but that's going to work for him. It's going to be Clampitt coming to the lead here, being shoved by Clement, and Cram is going to once again help out Jason as they funnel themselves down off the zero stretch towards number 3. Clampitt comes down and cuts off Jason Jacoby. This is where it's going to get antsy here. Coming in, we're going to be with 5 laps to go at the line.
Here we go. These guys are getting aggressive already, trying to defend this race lead. 5 laps to go. Caution rule in effect right now. Jacoby going to fake himself up top. Logan being aggressive the way he is. Jason might try to sell a fake, but he's not going to do it right now. A pull alongside the 44 of Logan Clampitt as they run through corners number 1 and 2 and get ready to head down the back straightaway. Logan's going to hold on to that race lead for now, as Jacoby simply does not have the momentum up top just yet, and that's the big thing. Now that Logan was able to steal that race lead away as quickly and as early as he's able to, Nolan, the 88, in order to get by, is going to need help from someone up top, and I don't think there's many people up top that are going to be able to push him around that 44 of Logan Clampitt as they head down through corners number 3 and 4, coming to 4 laps to go.
It's going to be down to Lucas Cram and Logan Clampitt at this point, because Cram is really shoving Clampitt all the way down around the track. They clear the 88 of Jason Jacoby. It is now down between these 2 drivers, the 8 and the 44. Jacoby trying to look to the inside, but Smith is there. He can't get the optimal line on the inside. Oh my goodness. Sorry, Lucas moves to the outside to cut off Jason. Now they're going to get the run on the outside. Look at this. Freaking Jason is pushing. Jason is pushing. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I cannot believe what is happening here. I'm going to let you take over. I'm losing my words.
This might be what he needs to do, though, to push Lucas Cram out in front, give Logan someone that he has to work through, and maybe make Logan go to the top side of the racetrack, or at least lock Logan down to the inside. They approach the tri-oval now for the 97th time, coming to lap number 98 of 100. Jacoby not being able to push Cram just yet, but if the race ended right there, Lucas Cram would have been the winner. So this strategy could work out as they work themselves through corners number 1 and 2. Bit of technical difficulties there for the 8 once again through 1 and 2. Will that maybe play a part? And we've been seeing it all race long. The 88 of Jason Jacoby will engage with the rear tailgate of Lucas Cram and push him down the super stretch. Will he get clear? I don't think so, because the 70 of Aaron Smith is pushing the 44 of Logan Clampitt through number 3 and 4. They will roll this time, and Logan gets himself out to a 1 truck length advantage over the rest of the field. Popsicle sticks in the air at the iRacing starter stand.
This could be a drag race to the start-finish line, or maybe even a 3-wide drag race to the start-finish line. We're with 2 laps to go now. Popsicle stands just showing out the line as we're coming around turn number 1 for the penultimate time today. Logan Clampitt trying to work his way to clear Lucas Cram. This is going to be a really exciting finisher. Will we see Aaron Smith look to the inside, entering the tri-oval, coming to the white or the checker, trying to make a move?
Jason Jacoby is going to try to work the outside down the super stretch. I think he's setting something up. Try to make something happen. He's deeper down the field than he wants to be, currently running 4th and losing even more ground. He's back to about 6th place right now, falling outside of the top 5. And as that happens, the 88 is going to duck in line, coming to the white flag now. Through the tri-oval at Daytona, he's going to peek himself back up into the outside line, working the slipstream on the 8 of Lucas Cram. How is he going to try to make this move stick? The 8's going to get turned through corners number 1 and 2. It's going to be 3 trucks, maybe 2 max, actually fighting for it, as Logan Clampitt would not have lost any momentum during that little incident. Aaron Smith is going to have to set this up as the 88 and the 14 get turned. Coming onto the back straightaway, Aaron Smith and Logan Clampitt will be the two drivers who decide this race heading towards turn 3. Jordan Coren could pick up the pieces if something happens here through 3 and 4. Aaron gonna try to throw the move on Logan, but Logan cuts it off. Aaron is not done yet though, gonna slot himself outside, have the momentum. Logan's gonna try to drive him up the racetrack, but it's not gonna be enough. The 70 of Aaron Smith steals victory here at Daytona.
Unbelievable finish there. The margin of victory 0.028 thousandths of a second. We saw Jason Jacoby spinning on the back straightaway. We saw another car, Lucas Cram, get sideways. He managed to save it in turn number 2. Fantastic finish here. What just happened there on that last lap? What happened there? Of all the cars, I did not expect that it would be Aaron Smith of all people to get the win. He's been really quiet all race.
He was quiet all race, and I think that was something that worked in his advantage. He wasn't one of those sort of early contenders. He wasn't an early pick for the win. He wasn't consistently getting caught up in incidents. He just sort of sat in that lead pack all race long, was calm. He got one opportunity, and I believe he led one lap all night, and it was the one that mattered. Aaron Smith, the perfect placement of where he put himself late in this race, got himself pushing the 44. Only needed something to happen to open up an opportunity. He got it, and he took victory. So as the 70 of Aaron Smith burns him down on the front straightaway, I will take you down the post-race results here from the season opener. Aaron Smith celebrates on that front stretch and continues to burn them down. Logan Clampitt, after an up and down race all night, comes home in second. Jordan Coren winds up in third. Darren Clement in fourth, and Lucas Cram will round out your top 5. Andrew Jump, is in 6th, with Kevin Moffitt in 7th, Jason Jacoby P8, Elijah Drew Gracia in 9th, and Evan Kelsey rounds out your top 10. He is the first driver to finish one lap down, and by that I mean 32 laps down. Alador Soto in the 11th spot, William Martin in 12th, Caden Atkins in 13th, Taylor Frey in 14th, and J.R. Hager rounding out the 15 truck field. Daryl Harris did not take the green this evening. We'll be back in just a couple moments on RaceSpotTV. Get ourselves some very quick post-race coverage. Then we will be closing this one out. Do not go away.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
DJ Harris Designs Truck Series season opener was a bit of a cluster with a ton of caution laps, a ton of incidents, and a lot of resets being used. But at the end of the day, it was Aaron Smith II from 4th on the grid, stealing victory late in this one. We are stood by with the driver of that number 70 machine. Talked to him about what happened in this one. Aaron, up and down race for you. I think you're one of the more consistent drivers staying with that lead group pretty much the whole way through this event. Didn't lead very many laps tonight, but you led the one that mattered. Talk me through that final lap.
I don't know what to tell you. I was sitting there behind Clampitt waiting for a Cram to get up there and make a move, but my drafting partner Elijah hit him in the quarter panel and spun him out. Now going down that backstretch, I was wondering when I could get that run, and out of turn 4 I got it, and we made it work.
Now, talking about this race, we saw a lot of pandemonium out there tonight, a lot of damaged race trucks. I mean, we lost half the grid in a 15-truck field. What was sort of, you were there and amongst a lot of the incidents all race long. What's sort of your take on a lot of the issues we saw with all the cautions tonight?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was the 3 quick repairs we had or just the overall poor internet connection throughout the field. But yeah, I spent about 90% of the race focusing on self-preservation and used the last 5 laps as actual racing time. So it worked out pretty well.
Thanks for joining me, Aaron. Congratulations on the big victory and excellently executed to pull the win there over Logan. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that yellow and black number 70?
Oh, it's everybody back at Smith Esports. You know it. And I got to thank Elijah from Sasha Gray Motorsports for helping me get up there as well.
There he was. Mr. Aaron Smith takes big victory here in the season opener of the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series. Second place went to the 44 of Logan Clampitt at just about 3/100ths of a second. Nolan, you're stood by with Logan.
Thank you, Randy. Now, Logan, like Aaron Smith, you had a very up-and-down race. There was one incident in particular I wanted to talk about really quickly here. The incident you had, I believe it was with the 24 car on lap 39. Could you talk us through what happened there?
I tried to get as close as possible to him. I pinched him a little too much, I think. And it merged on my part. It merged our cars kind of together. And I was stuck in his car, and then eventually he got shoved off the track. But I am guilty of trying to get as close to him as possible. So I don't know. It goes either way. So apologies to him.
And about that last lap, what an exciting finish between you and Aaron Smith. Definitely something we weren't expecting to see was Aaron Smith with you in that last lap. What were your thoughts as you saw all the carnage unfolding behind you?
Well, I pretty much saw how it's going to be the 2 of us, and I might get screwed here. Well, at first it was 3, and then I saw Elijah get wrecked, and I was like, oh, here we go. So in 3 and 4, he went high, I went low to block, and he stayed high, and I could have blocked him again, but I was afraid he was going to do the same thing and try and get under me. So I let him go high. I'm like, he's not going to get it. And all of a sudden, here comes this massive run. I'm like, oh, shoot. And I didn't really want to door him too early to wreck us both. I tried to ruin his momentum while we were even coming to the checkered flag, but it was a little too late. But it's whatever. We were just trying to make it exciting, all of us, and just trying to have some fun, and I think we made it exciting. But I also, for some reason, I thought I used 3 fast repairs, and then I got wrecked, and then it said I had 1 more, and I asked Jordan. I thought I used 3 fast repairs, and someone said sometimes it glitches. So I asked Jordan, you want me to use this or park it? I think I've already used 3. So, and he said, go ahead and use it. So props to him for letting me use that last fast repair to bring it home second.
Thank you. You guys certainly did a good job of making it exciting for us up here in the booth to watch. Before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs that you want to give?
Shout out to Jordan for putting this on, DJ Harris for sponsoring the series, and JDR Graphics for being on the hood and Lockdown Racing.
Thank you, Logan. We'll let you return to your team now. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Logan Clampitt ending up in that 3rd spot tonight. Driver who comes home 3rd, going to be Mr. Jordan Coren, as I just completely messed up that name. Jordan, a decent race for you tonight. You were part of that lead pack all night. You got somewhat lucky after that incident on the white flag lap to be able to hold on and keep some momentum up when everyone else lost so much speed. Talk me through that sort of last lap incident from where you rode in 3rd.
You know, I was just drafting behind, doing my thing, and then I saw cars turning, and I'm like, okay, this is about to get interesting. And then I just kind of slid through, wound up on the outside right next to Jason, and we were 3 wide, and, you know, I mean, Jason got a little loose because he was still trying to save the car, and I didn't give him enough room. I thought I did, but I squeezed him a little. I still felt, though, that, you know, it was an unfortunate event.
Now, talking about this championship, this, of course, being the season opener, as we get ready to go on, I mean, it's a sort of a big shakeup of this first 4 races. You get a big super speedway here at Daytona. You go to Myrtle Beach next week on the 14th. The 21st, you end up in Martinsville, and by the 28th, you're at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. How is it trying to set yourself up mentally for what is a championship that, through the first handful of races, takes you on a bit of let's say a bunch of tracks that are nothing but extremes on the entire season?
Well, I felt, we're going to try to make the best schedule we can, put it on the best channels, RaceSpot and LSR TV, and I thought, that the best way to do it is get the best drivers, put them on the best racetracks, and simply see what happens. And I feel that this has been a showcase of what the rest of the season's going to be like.
Thanks for joining us, Jordan, and thank you for including us over at RaceSpotTV. It was a fantastic race all the way through. Bit of drama-filled, bit of cluster at times, but entertaining nonetheless. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that number 3 truck?
Well, I got to thank all the guys back at Coren Motorsports. It's been an amazing ways for us to put Susan G. Komen on the car to honor breast cancer awareness, put the Lupus Foundation on the car. Also, thank you for Highball Energy for giving us this contingency sponsor to have them on our car for a couple of races. Thanks to SimSpeed Shop also being here for us and for Jay Clarkson. And I got to thank my parents for allowing me to, do this stuff. Without them, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you about this race. So thanks to them.
Well, there he was, Jordan Coren, setting up the series and setting up a fantastic finish for himself tonight. Hopefully he can look to have himself a good championship overall. But Nolan, getting ready to wind these things down. 100 laps of excitement here at Daytona. What's sort of your final thoughts as we get ready to close this thing out?
I'd have to say that entire last lap was just, that's what really caught me out the most. I knew we were going to have some moves when we took the white flag, but I didn't expect for it to all end exactly like that. Like I said, Aaron Smith, not somebody who I thought was going to be hold on here for 1 second, please.
Keep talking.
Okay, but yeah, like that last lap was it was so crazy for me. I didn't expect anything to happen. I knew we were going to have like a bit of a drag race when we took the white. I didn't expect we were going to have 2 different incidents in the exact same corner pretty much. It was honestly one of the most mind-boggling things I've seen, and I think I actually might have pulled a stringer because I think I kicked my desk here when I was jumping up at that whole thing.
Definitely not something you want to do it, as we'll go through a couple more interviews very quickly. Nolan, you're stood by with Darren Clement.
Thank you. And Darren, I'm going to go back to that white flag incident again. You were in 7th place when you took the white flag, and then you must have seen for sure Lucas Cram get loose in front of you. He made a bit of contact, and then of course Jason Jacoby did a little bit of sliding around towards the inside. What were you thinking when you saw all of this unfolding pretty much right in front of you?
I was just honestly looking for the hole to try to make it through so I could end up with a finish and not get collected. I had quite a few incidents tonight where I was just looking for that hole to get through unscathed.
Well, congratulations on making your way up to 4th place after starting in 11th. Before we let you go, who gets it done for the 32 truck?
My buddy Martin, William Martin, that was running in this race, also Jake Clarkson and the boys back at Iceman Racing, who helped me out with a lot of setups and helped me with the Road to Pro Series as well.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Clement, and congratulations on the top 5.
Thank you.
Also going to be stood by with the 5th place finisher here tonight, Lucas Cram. Lucas, quick question for you from that Susan G. Komen machine. That 8 truck, part of a lot of drama here tonight. What's your thoughts being able to steal away a top 5 finish in a race that you were caught up in a lot of incidents with?
Well, actually, I was only caught up in 2 accidents. Surprisingly, honestly, it was somehow just ahead of a lot of them, but it was a lot of fun. We had a really fast truck. I want to thank everybody helped me all race along, like Jason, for pushing all the time, and the way I helped him get the victory there is it was my 1-year anniversary, my very first win in iRacing, which is what the Spain scheme is replicating. So it was really cool to put that in victory lane again. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it, but it was a lot of fun overall.
Thanks for joining us, Lucas, and glad to hear that you had a good time, and definitely interesting that the date meant something to you. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that 8 truck?
I'd like to thank Stephen Gale, who responded for me in Discord all race long. I'd like to thank him for taking about 2 hours to spot for me. So I'd like to thank him. I'd like to thank Jordan for, of course, putting this all up and having you guys broadcast again, and everybody else who was pushing me all race long. I know Aaron's pushed me sometimes, and Jason and Logan, a lot of good guys who were up there. A lot of fun racing, really, really fun.
There he was, your 5th place finisher on the night, Lucas Cram. I have one more interview stood by with you. The driver who pretty much dominated the bulk of this event alongside the 44, Logan Clampitt, Jason Jacoby. I am stood by with him. Jason, pretty good event for you, but you just couldn't quite set it up in the closing stages. It seemed like you and Logan were working together, though, the bulk of the event. Was that the case?
Yeah, Randy, I tell you what, man, I am like so selfish when it comes to super speedway racing. For the most part, I try to do what it takes to get the lead. So if Logan was the fast guy to push, that's who I'd go with. And then if I had the chance to hang someone out, I would. Lucas helped me so much, and Luke's a good buddy of mine, so I basically did try to push him for a little bit there. But man, all that stuff, I just want to make the broadcast exciting and try to make some good moves and close moves, and some of that ended up in a wreck, which I apologize to the guys for, but it was a great race, had a lot of fun.
Now, like I asked someone a little bit earlier, a bunch of crazy tracks coming up deeper in the championship and early in the championship. You go from a 2.5-mile super speedway to a couple half-mile ovals at Myrtle Beach and Martinsville, and then straight into a road course at Canadian Tire. What do you think is your chances of doing well through the next 3 weeks?
I hope I do well, Randy, but honestly, I'd love to get more people. I'd love to have us all recruit more drivers this league, because it does have you guys RaceSpot and LSR TV broadcasting, and it's just a really cool feature. I hope people sign up. This is my first ever race here. It's kind of last-second deal for me. I'd like to thank Jordan Coren for inviting me. That's the whole reason I'm here, and that coupled with my YouTube channel and all my subscribers for subscribing and helping it take off, that's the reason I got here. And so I encourage anyone to join this league. Look for the DJ Harris Designs League and iRacing leagues, and I just spoke with Jordan before the interview, and we are recruiting for sure.
There he was, Jason Jacoby, with a probably disappointing 8th place finish tonight after being at the front all night long. Who gets it done for you, Jason?
Man, well, I want to say thank you to you guys. I don't want to steal any viewers, but if you do have time after this broadcast to check out my YouTube channel, that would be great. I want to also shout out to my sponsor, Jeffrey Ford, who basically builds the cheapest computers you can get for iRacing, cheaper than any other company out there. You're guaranteed to go the lowest price if you buy with Jeffrey Ford. You head over on my channel or my website, simracingjason.com, simracingjason without a G, to find out more about Jeffrey and my channel as well. Thank you guys so much.
So, Nolan, it was an exciting race through and through. What's your predictions for the couple races coming up, as we have a couple of tight half-mile ovals in week 2 and 3 for these guys to go and visit over on LSR TV?
Yeah, I think going into these later races, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can put together. Of course, you guys can go over to LSR TV. They're, like we said earlier, they're going to be covering the bulk of the series. But I think it was a very, very good way to open. Personally, I think it was a fantastic way to open up the season with a nice, exciting race here at Daytona International Raceway, one of my personal favorite tracks. So I really enjoyed the race. I loved watching these guys duking it out all the way to the end. I didn't think there was a spot of racing that I didn't find interesting.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. But it is now time for us on this Sunday evening close things out for the DJ Harris Designs Truck Series season opener live from Daytona. Next week, you'll be able to catch these guys on LSR TV at Myrtle Beach Speedway. LSR TV, the experts at Myrtle Beach, having a partnership with the track itself at one point. I would like to thank all the sponsors make this series possible. Of course, Mr. DJ Harris, DJ Harris Designs and Mr. DJ Harris, the company and the man. I will thank both, why not? As well as all the sponsors for us at RaceSpotTV, who makes all of this possible. Guys over at ATVO, the guys over at TrackCams22.com, as well as everyone else. Myself, Nolan, who worked the broadcast with me, as well as Hugo pushing the buttons in the broadcast booth. Thank you all for being here. We hope to see you all next time, as we have a very busy week of World Championships coming up for you this week. World of Outlaws Sprint Cars have their penultimate race this Monday night, and then, of course, NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series action on Tuesday. Be sure to catch it all right here, right now on RaceSpotTV. Bye-bye.